Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WIC TV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And today, gang, we've got a show for you. So, there has been some discussion lately in various venues amongst various people. And one of the things I've saw, and I'm just going to read this out to you guys, says this. The tweet with 68,000 likes on Twitter, okay? And it says this. I hate the way y'all coddle men. They're not kids, I assure you. They know exactly what they're doing. And please stop thanking them for behaving like normal humans. OMG. In many other cases, I've seen similar sentiments expressed. And the claim has been made that society coddles men. And I don't know if that's exactly true. So I decided we're going to get some people together to talk about. One more is on her way now. Hopefully she'll get here in a second. But we'll start with what we'll start with. Okay. And we're going to pass the mic first to Cham. Cham, does society coddle men? Hi, Mooncake.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. What you got?
Yes, definitely, 100%. You can look at, first of all, Boys Will Be Boys is iconic for us. Any form of behavior done by men is just put as, well, boys will be boys. There's a lot of double standards when it comes to men and women. And you can also look at a lot of legal and law cases where men are essentially pandered to when they commit crimes. You could take Brock Turner, where we don't want to ruin a good boy's life, so we'll give him probation for raping a woman behind a dumpster.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here. I'm sure we'll get into it as we go. Next up, we got Owlish. Owlish, does society coddle men?
Yes, they do. So much media is targeted at coddling men. The entire existence of the Fresh and Fit podcast and other like creations are coddling men because they need affirmation that they can, I don't know, abuse women, or that they can talk to women however they want because they need to feel empowered to do so. I think that the entire existence of those platforms is coddling men.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get into it as we go. Mooncake, welcome to the stream.
Hey, you can hear me well, right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we can
I
hear
was
you.
rushing.
Okay. You're all good.
Sorry.
Do we, are men coddled by society? What do you think?
Yeah, men okay, most men fucking suck. Let's just be real about it. They're definitely coddled. We pretend like they're babies. It's literally why you have the rise of anti-Semitism, anger on the right, why they're so angry, because they're just not good enough anymore. Like they just aren't. And so because they're not good enough to do like anything, and women have to kind of take up the lead on doing things for them, have basically become their mothers of society, they're pissed off. So yeah, they're coddled.
Oh, I'm sure we will get into it as we go. Thank you for being here. Rube, does society coddle men?
No, I don't think society coddles men. I think men are slightly disadvantaged in a few areas. I think society doesn't coddle men, mostly because society rightfully fears and despises weak men, so we try to avoid it, generally speaking. There's a lot of social capital that just gets wasted, tens of thousands of hours in probably every parent's life, just trying to protect the boys from like this constant neurotic, ungrateful, loser like, I don't know, obsessive compulsive urge on the part of mothers and sisters and the women around boys who just constantly have like a stake, a shackle around their fucking cock for no reason at all, other than just like ease their own neuroticism. It's ridiculous. It's annoying. I think most men are aware of it. And they don't have it that bad, I'm not going to say. I think it's only men don't have it that bad only because the people who've been put in charge of keeping them in this pussy-shaped panopticon were women. And so they haven't done as good a job at keeping down men. That's the only difference.
Okay, I'm sure we will have an interesting discussion today. Last but certainly not least, Kitteh, what do you think?
Sorry,
Does
guys, my
society?
eyes are watering not because of the quality of the thing.
Does society
Okay,
coddle
yeah.
men, Kitteh?
No, it does not. I think there are plenty. I think it's a twisting of the word coddling to turn it to giving men a pass or something like that, or some sort of explanation for things. Coddling is treating with excessive care. Oh, you're a little flower, delicate flower. They don't do that to men. It's actually laughable to expect that, to think that that men are treated with extreme care, when actually it's the opposite. It's get out there and be a man, and if you mess up, it's because you're weak, it's because you're lame, it's because you're not working out enough, and that's it. Whereas, look, I don't want to. I think we could talk about just men without comparing to women, but it's brought up anyway. Whereas women, on the other hand, you are special from the beginning. You are special from birth. And all you have to do is unlock your potential, and most things just won't be your fault. I think you can pick out examples of each gender being favored in certain situations, because we literally are a gendered species, and we do have different standards. I agree, we have different standards for the sexes. But yeah, men have it tough, and it's not coddling. It just, the word coddling just does not come to mind when it comes to me.
Okay, and with
I would
that,
rather be a woman. Thank you.
And with that, we'll just open up the discussion again. If you have trouble getting in, or if you feel like you're being talked over, just raise your hand, DM me, get my attention, and I'll give you the chance to speak. Go ahead, floor is open.
Actually, I wanted to address something Ash said immediately. So you made a comment in your initial statement about like how, what was it? Women have like a cockhold. What is it? A shackle in their cock.
Oh, shackle around your cock about this, basically trying to keep pressure on people and constant monitoring and constraints on male behavior, especially harmless stuff, because that's the easiest to control, and it seems to give you guys the most satisfaction when it comes to just exercising control over other people.
So, give examples?
Yeah, can I get a definition of harmless?
Yeah,
so perfect example is you have two boys wrestling in a yard. They're play fighting or something like that. This is the most common example, up to and including the fucking Gillette commercial, of boys will be boys. And it's simple play fighting. Men enjoy wrestling. They enjoy physical contact. It's a form of release, both emotional and physical. It's a form of bonding with other men. And the idea you gotta jump in there, oh my god, they're fighting, is distinctly feminine.
So like,
okay.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say
you already are. Sorry.
Sorry. So basically, the reason why I find that to be really ironic is the fact that boy moms are like the biggest thing right now. And that's not even coddling, and that's coddling of men. And men just like fall right into it. Like, how many times have you seen like shows or like any other media portraying boy moms as like these heroes who keep their sons locked up forever, or not even locked up forever, that they believe that they should be the ones to keep them, and then the boys just agree with it. They just sit there and take it and think that like, yeah, my mom is the one who takes care of me. Like,
you're drawing an example from current media, or just to clarify?
So like,
I'm less familiar with it.
So in general, there was a big thing on social media recently. I think like TikTok series and some other podcasts about specifically boy moms being like a thing. Like, when women get married to some men, especially men who are like the only boy in their family, they tend to be coddled by their parents, by their mom specifically, and they find it difficult to break them away. Like, they don't know how to do laundry, they don't know how to do dishes, they have weaponized incompetence. It just things that they feel like the women should be taking care of them in the home because their mom did it.
Oh, so this isn't like a media example. This is like a social phenomenon, or kind of like an end run around the idea that, like, well, men aren't doing enough chores, they're not doing enough to help around the house. It's kind of born out of like 90s sitcoms, it feels like, but you see people complaining about it consistently. There was who was that one lady who does these weird faceless comics years ago, who was complaining about the peach? There might have been a Wick panel on this, actually, complaining about how, like, she bought a peach, there was one last peach, she's ostensibly saving it for some fucking smoothie later, and like, she puts her husband publicly on blast because he ate the peach, and she made this thing like, oh, a peach, the last peach, great, I could have it. Later came out that this lady does like yoga instructions or nothing, and like her husband is like a high-powered firm.
I want to kind of get to the point, like, a little quicker with things.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just, how about this? For the side that thinks that men are coddled, what and I want to start with Mooncake, and then we'll go to Alish and go to Cham. Give me your best example of how society coddles men. Your number one, the one that no one can deny, your nuke, okay?
Ooh. I would say the biggest one, I mean, it starts from like childhood. For example, like if a boy is mean and then the first thing they say is, oh, well, he likes you, there's an expectation on young girls to kind of be like, oh, okay, I have to be super nice to them, even if they're being incredibly cruel, also in a way to protect themselves. And it's carried into adulthood. And I think what we've done is basically said that in order to not harm their egos, to not make them so aggressive, we have to be incredibly nice to them. And I think that's a really large form of coddling that we've seen that still continues to this day. Why do most women who aren't even interested in some men give them their numbers in public? It's because they don't want to be killed. Because what they learned is if we don't pet their ego or stroke that ego, there's a potential for something violent to happen. And I think that is a big thing that like anybody could notice.
Any discussion on that?
I wanted to go for it. I thought you.
No,
wanted
we're
to
gonna
go with, like, a
we'll take it
second
one at a
example first.
time. But okay. So the claim is that women coddle men because if they don't, that men will kill them. Is that the claim?
There's a potential for violence.
Yes,
Yes.
there's a potential for violence. What do we think?
Okay.
Yeah, women have to do that
that's
for
probably-
safety.
Okay, well, I don't do it for safety. I just do it to be. It's not even about giving the number. It's more like being nice, a decent person, not being aggressive towards somebody who's interested in you.
Yeah, but
You
most women
give
don't
them-
want that.
But if you're scared of this man, why are you giving him your number?
Well,
Having, so
you're
I've been in a
you're put-
situation. Sorry, can I give an
Yeah, you
example?
could-
I've literally
yeah,
been in a
yeah,
situation
and I'll
where
do
a
it
man
too.
he called me in front of me to make sure it was my correct number. After that happened, I think that happened when I was about 17. What I learned was, and this guy was like very intense, is that if I don't potentially give them my number, there is that potential for violence, right? And so at a certain point, we say to ourselves, well, we can just block them later. I've heard this from tons of other ladies who say, well, I'll just block them later, or they have the Text Now app. So they'll give a fake number that they can still call and it will still call their phone. And this happens on a daily basis. I'm definitely not the only woman this has happened to. And I think even
That's
if you
pretty
look
cool.
deeper into it, you
It has
can be
happened to
nice
me.
to men. Like you can be nice to men. That's not a problem. However, it's deeper than that. We understand that if we aren't very nice to men, that there is a potential for violence. There just is.
If men, my also my agreement there would be that men can be need to be decent with each other because of the potential of violence. I think everybody needs to be decent to each other because of the potential of violence. It's always underlying every interaction. You're focusing on the male potential for violence obviously being higher because yes, males are bigger and all of that, but at the same time, men also need to be a certain way in order to avoid violence. Men
They
are
don't have
also
the same fear. If a
um,
man,
Well-
if a
Just
girl
because-
says no
just
to a
no,
man, they're not gonna beat him up.
you're looking at it.
That's
You're
what I'm
looking
talking
at it
about
in
with like
terms
the
of romance.
neuroticism and
You're-
stuff like
The
that. It's
problem
the
is,
fact that
most of
men
the time
don't
when
have the
women,
same
like-
identical
Hold
fear.
on, one at a time. Respond, Rube, and then I want to hear from Cham. That's order.
Yeah, it's just this idea that, well, men don't have the same exact fear when interacting with women. That is true, but that doesn't matter. If that's your primary concern, it's because you're neurotic and you wish that they had that same fear. You wish that you could be as violent
Yes.
and as intimidating with them, but it has nothing to do with like the social pressures or like your advantages in society or even whether they're being coddled. If you call 911 at that moment, there will be presumed guilt on the part of the man, as I think there should be. I hope we could all agree.
If they make it in time,
If they make it in,
they call 911. If they make it in
again,
time,
you're presuming there
Or
is
there's
a
other
violent
men around
interaction.
you.
I'm saying without any violent interaction, you could say, I feel threatened. I'm going to call this guy. Somebody help. And the guy could have just been like coming on too strong, or could have actually been a threat. Either way, that's a severe deterrent that is built into the structure of society.
Okay,
It
so
should be.
first of all, vote in my poll. I put a poll up on YouTube. Are women scary? Okay, that's a very important question. I want to know the answer from my audience. Cham has been trying to talk. I want to give Cham the mic and see what Cham has to say.
Yeah, the reason the whole situation with coddling men when it comes to things like public situations, women have to coddle men for our own safety and the potential for it not to escalate. And that is where the coddling begins, because a lot of times no doesn't mean no for a lot of these men. You get nagged, you get bothered, you get aggressed on, and so there's so many examples women have where no, it doesn't mean no, and it escalates so much higher. And you can read so many stories where women have said, no, I'm not interested. That happened recently. Some grown ass man was going after a 16-year-old. She said no. He turned around and hit her with his car. So it's not this simple, oh, we just got to be nice to men. Like, no, I'm sorry.
It's that
Yeah.
lie behind it.
Nobody's
Sorry.
claiming
It's
that.
like, it's what we
And-
have to do. Once again,
literally,
coddle
like-
men.
And literally, there's an entire culture built. There was a TV show called The Pickup Artist, 2008.
Mm.
Literally pushing the ideology onto men that no means no, no does not mean no. And then it just like spreads across all social platforms that men, no doesn't mean no. You should be able to say XYZ to women and they should be able to pick you up and they should be smitten with you. And this whole ideology, along with the idea that women can be damaged goods, but men can't, is just like pure coddling.
Responses?
I think it's just resentment on display for like, okay, you don't feel the same fear I feel when interacting with a man, and therefore I'm coddling you if I'm just trying to avoid violence, which men have to do as well, obviously, interacting with other men. They usually have the privilege or the opportunity to be more aggressive about it. And I can definitely sympathize with that kind of jealousy. Like if I was like 2 feet tall and I had to deal with like homeless crack addicts in Philadelphia, like coming out of Philly airport, the same way y'all do, if I was in that same state of vulnerability, I could totally sympathize. But it's just resentment politics. I've been at the PUA scene, the RSC, the real social dynamic guys. They weren't talking about like, hey, you have to force these women onto your cock and you have to like shackle, you have to chain them up or something. They were saying, hey, you could give women multiple opportunities to say yes. If you decide to go away and they keep following you, then maybe she is still interested, but maybe she's feeling societal pressure. Maybe she's feeling internalized shame. There's tons of internalized misogyny, slut shaming, and stuff like that women have to deal with. So if she's still coming with you to your room, you can offer it again. And again, it's just, hey, there's an off-ramp over there. There's an on-ramp here. The on-ramp leads to my dick. Multiple exits follow that way. Multiple exits go this other way, you know? It's not about, it wasn't a culture of raping women. That's such a gross mischaracterization.
I just don't think we're
I mean, like,
analyzing.
There's a mention of
this
pickup
isn't
artists, and I
about
was just
raping women.
explaining that was a
Nobody's
gross
saying.
mischaracterization
I
of
just don't
their...
think we're truly analyzing the why. So like
Okay.
even when I brought up the violence part, right? Even if we just kind of dismiss that, it's just why. Yes, this is the reason. That's because they are afraid of violence. Where, like you said, men are probably afraid of violence from other men. But predominantly, they're not afraid of violence from women, right? It's going to come from their side. And even another subtle example could be like house chores. Even if we don't want to use the violence, right? There's still an expectation that they don't have to do as much in the household. All they have to do is bring home money. But as we see, as women are now starting to rise in the workplace and in school, it's becoming quite even. However, men are still expecting women to do most of the work in the household, even when it comes to raising children. And I think if we just consider these expectations, that's what I mean when I say coddled. We're still not really pushing them to be their own independent person.
I want to hear Kitty's response. She looks like she's about to explode. Let's hear it.
I'm just wondering. Oh, the men just have to. They just have to. They're expected to just make the money, like as if that's nothing. As if that's it's easy peasy.
That's very easy. That's literally part of life. You can do. That's for everyone. Yeah.
You know what's literally part of life? Popping out a baby and taking care of it.
Coddling men, like, oh, they gotta get a job. Oh no, how hard.
No, we have to work. I gotta work too. I gotta work to make money.
But literally, we're in a society we're in a society where part of your requirements on a dating app, people will be like, oh, or if we go into the silly street discussions, people will go, oh, he's got to make 3 figures and a this and a that, and I've got to be able to do.
I make 3 figures,
Okay.
lady.
Sorry, 3
One.
3 figures in terms of the K. Sorry, I didn't even realize what I was saying there.
It's
But
okay.
thank you for picking that up. I make 3 figures too. I'm a big girl.
It's like-
Yeah, I am not. My
I did
gauge
the
on
that
that is not the same.
I did the
You've
research
decided-
behind all that dating
Mhm.
crap. It's all fucking bullshit. No one's looking up 6 figures,
Oh.
6 feet. Like you'd have the whole country would be fucking single. So that entire thing is thrown out the door.
We have
Most-
a
most of the
loneliness epidemic. We have
we have
low
a lonely,
birth
we have a
rates.
lonely epidemic because a lot of fucking men are Republicans and women
Yes.
refuse to date
Yeah,
men.
that's a big issue.
Essentially think you don't have rights to your body. Most of them are fucking douchebags, broke as fuck. Meanwhile,
Well,
women out here
What's the
Stay
issue?
single.
Right,
Stay
here we have to
single.
ask,
Katie-
what's the
Okay,
big
okay,
issue
okay,
with
one at a
being
time.
Men
broke?
Well, hold on.
houses.
One at a
making
time.
more money.
Okay.
What's the big issue with being broke? If there's no societal expectation that is one-sided, because you were
Because most
making
people
this
date
big
within their
show about how it's
because
not a
most people
problem.
date within their social their financial.
No, you're
class.
describing an outcome as a post hoc justification for it. But why do people do that? Why don't people just date up and down all around the
They do, but most people
spectrum?
date within their social class, right?
But
just
why
the fact.
is that the case? I'm asking
Why?
you
Because
to
people
extrapolate
live a
from
certain
that. Are there
lifestyle
any
and they
social
don't want to
pressures
have to
leading
pay
to
for
it?
someone else's lifestyle. That's why.
Okay. So if it's okay for you to pay for somebody else's lifestyle, but I hear
No,
plenty of stories. I'm doing it right now.
That's not paying for. I mean, within the same, like the same spending habits, the same. If they want to spend money on certain things, if they have a certain life, they luxury of life that they live. Most people date within
Historically
that
speaking,
class.
spending habits were not similar. Most women were spending 80% of the
Because we
money,
didn't
and
fucking
that's
have
not.
fucking money. We couldn't
Yeah,
spend
because
money.
like that was the job.
No, they
for
were
them to
also
do.
spending 80% of the household income. That includes the man's income.
Well, yeah, because they had to do all the shopping for everybody in the house. Like, it's not like they were out just like buying whatever they wanted. Like, oh, gonna go to the store and just buy a bunch of clothes today. No, they had to get the food, bring the food home, cook the food, take care of the kids.
Spend money on the kids.
They also
Yeah,
did
spend money on the
they
kids,
just to be
do
clear, they
laundry,
also did
like-
the thing that you were mentioning where you go out and you just buy a bunch of shit because that was seen as a mark of social status or social privilege, being able to go out and just like spend your husband's money. And that was a goal that men had to reach that level of income to where they could actually do that and provide that for their wives. And there's still men today, I'm one of them, who pay for the lifestyle or pay for, my girlfriend's in college. She's not working right now. So I work. I work a lot.
Yeah, nobody's saying there's anything.
And that is
wrong
not
with
easy.
working. Yeah.
Oh, no. But there is somebody saying something
We
that
work
is wrong
too,
with that
trust me, it's not
because
easy,
there's
man.
still the
Working is
expectation
just
on
easy.
me that I have to split the chores 50-50.
Mm.
You say
I
you
think
have
that's something you need
Well,
to
let's add. Hold on.
navigate in your own
Yeah,
Well,
relationship.
hold on.
that's your
Please.
relationship.
No, I'm talking about a
Hold on.
wide social trend.
Stop. Okay, you're not gonna yap more than women, are you, Ash? Okay, calm down. Calm down. Okay, I want to know because let's start with some foundational things. To the women here, and this includes you, Kitty, right? Do you have the expectation if your husband, boyfriend, lover, whatever, if they are working, do you expect them to cover 50% of the household chores? Is that an actual expectation you have?
No.
Oh, what's the question again?
For you guys.
yes,
If
in
you
a
are
household?
if your
If he's
husband
working?
or spouse or whoever is working, okay, and you're not, or maybe you work less, do you expect them to do 50% of the household chores?
Well, I work, so can I answer as someone who works, or are you saying like if I just didn't really work, I'm just kind of
If you didn't.
if I didn't work, no, I'd probably take up a majority of like the household work if he was like working full time, just to make our lives easier. I don't see why not.
Okay. Is that a common answer here?
Yeah, I would do the same thing, or I would like do the same thing in that situation. I think also as a partner, you should also every once in a while like help contribute and help around. That's what a partnership is, helping each other out and making each other's lives like a little bit better.
So like I would definitely think that they should do a majority of the work, but I think that the work should be split fairly in the sense that like if you're working and I'm not, I would be expected to do like most of the housework, like cleaning, but like I would also expect them to be able to come home, put their clothes in the dirty clothes, or like move the clothes from the dryer to the washer, something simple like that. And I would consider that to contribute to the 50%. And even it's not even like they have to fold or anything, but like if you come home from work and like if we're both cooking or whatever, we can do the 50% thing where like you cook, I clean or clean up or whatever it is. But in general, contributing also involves just like the tiny little things that like just become a nuisance to people, like, oh, you left your socks on the floor for the 5th time this week. You can't just put them in the bin. Or like you left your shoes sitting here. You can't just put them in the bin. Like that I feel like contributes, even if the person not working is doing a quote unquote majority of the work.
Okay. Well, with that said, okay, so now it seems to be the general answer is if the man works, the woman is going to do most of the household chores.
But not without resentment, not without like pressure or nagging with regard to what's pretty clearly a wide gap between who's actually contributing to the household. I
The
was
nagging is
expecting
what
more of it.
happens when like two people are working, and then at the same time that person also the man isn't contributing to the household. So he thinks, because in today's society
No,
almost everyone fucking works. So we can't go on this like everyone's a stay-at-home
Also,
mom. No, they
can I just say,
lots of
when
people
you're
are
taking care of a
employed. Lots of
household,
people
it's
are
actually a lot of
losers who are
work.
just not actually doing it by and large. And lots of people are going to school as well.
I want to hear from Mooncake real quick. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I don't think people understand that like taking care of the household is not just like me watching TV and vacuuming the carpet. Like there's like mopping and sweeping and like wiping everything down and dusting and making up the beds, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, preparing meals. This takes like hours out of the day. So the amount of hours that you spend at work, let's say you're doing, I don't know, 8, 9 hour days, is probably the same amount of time that I'm at home cleaning and cooking. Right. So at the end of the day, even though someone is bringing home in more of what you would say is like the funds, someone is still taking care of the household, because if you worked all day and there was no one at home to do that, you would have to do that on your own. And that's even more work. You're working even more when you get home. So I think when we
No, you wouldn't.
compare these things, it's a little bit
and
more
throw a kid
difficult.
into that and
Sorry.
it's fucking worse.
No, so this was kind of like the trap laid out is, yes, they would consider it like, yes, I should be contributing proportionally, but the immediate refrain is I'm going to now elevate or I'm going to exaggerate how much of a contribution things like vacuuming, cleaning, mopping, sweeping, and stuff like that are. And because men are, I think it's nice of men to do this. I do this. To let them
Why?
know that, like, to make them not feel like it's a burden, just say, yeah, it's good that you're, thank you so much for vacuuming. Thank you so much for cleaning or for making this meal. It's not the same. It's not even close
Wait,
to something
wait.
like an 8 or 9 hour day.
You want to be coddled by saying thank you? Thank you for doing the
No,
bare
I'm saying
minimum.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Like,
Yeah,
ba-
but
I
like,
think
yes, oh
everybody
my
should be
god, you mopped the
thankful.
floor. Thank you so much. Like, what? And
I
then,
think everyone should be appreciated for what they do equally.
yeah,
So,
everyone
I feel
should
like, I'm
be,
sorry,
but like,
do you not hear English? I said men thanking the people who do the housework, their wives and their
oh,
girlfriends.
okay. I was gonna say, but still, thanking somebody is still not like you should still participate in it, and thanking is not like the only thing that should be done. Like I said, and I made the point that like you should participate in the housework even minimally, even minimal things, because a lot of people will find that weaponized incompetence is something that men will do in order to get out of doing work. Like they'll have this great facade of like wanting to help out, and then like they'll be like, "Oh, I can't do it. So can you do it because you do it better?" And we see that a lot in society.
Hold on. Do you not think that happens with women too? Right?
Why
Like,
would that
oh
happen?
yes,
Why would it
I,
happen?
it's
Just like
so
in
I
what
can't
regard?
count to you the amount of times like
heavy.
Exactly. I can't open
regard
the
does that happen to
jar, right? If you're Andrew Wilson or something, right? Like, if I can't do it, I need a big, strong man to come do this for
I
me.
literally,
I need
I
60
literally did
different
it
kitchen appliances
yesterday.
if you want me to
Do you think
cook.
we're
Well, we
just
got,
fucked? It's
okay, you
like we
got the
don't have a
bar
man
grill, you got
around,
the counter grill. Now I
like
need
out
a
of
mixing bowl.
curiosity.
Now I need this. Now I need that.
I'm just,
Sorry, go
Well, I
ahead.
mean,
my whole,
you
hold
want
on.
a
My
nice
whole
home that
point,
you
my
expect,
whole point,
so
my whole point is that yes, weaponized incompetence exists among men. I've seen it happen,
And
but it also exists among women. So why is
Majority
it?
women.
Why
What's the
is
highest
it?
rate? What do you think is who do you think is more?
I see it
It's
more
women,
from women, but
obviously.
I'm a
Oh
man,
God, it
so
takes me
fair.
8 hours to vacuum the house. This you get away with this because men are not
I think it
taught
was a
how
little
to
more than
clean
just how.
properly by their mothers. I
Have
think
you cleaned a
probably
house at
because it
all?
leads to situations like this.
Well,
Yeah, I've done it all the time.
you've
I've
cleaned.
done custodial work at my jobs beforehand.
Well,
Yeah.
it sounds so. So it's just an easy job.
I didn't say it was easy because again,
It's
I
quick. You
don't
did it
need
quick.
to denigrate it
cleaning the house is so much
in order
easier
to
than
be
vacuuming.
appreciative for it. I don't feel the need to escape being appreciative. I don't feel like that's a burden on me for if somebody does something for me, that it feels okay to just thank them for that. Even if I didn't ask,
No
even if I
one's
didn't
fucking
give them a
saying that.
20-point bullet point.
No
so
one's
like
saying don't thank your
Go
partner
ahead.
or anything like that. If you're doing something nice for your partner, great. Go ahead and do it. You should do it. You should help out your partner every once in a while. We're talking about the overall load that women have to do versus what men do in the household. And it gets even worse when there's a child involved because men think, oh, all I have to do is work 8 hours, come home, and I'm done. Do you think taking care of the kids stops at 5 p.m.?
yeah, it's like so many you hear so many men or like you hear it from everybody like, "Oh, are you babysitting today?" Like talking about
Yeah.
their children like when do you babysit your own kids? Like, no. And you only
Yeah,
hear that coming from men.
they're
I
a
mean, you only
parent.
hear that
The
coming
thing
to men.
about babysitting is just like a funny thing. Well, because men don't get social capital for complaining about having to take care of their kids.
What do you mean
What I
they
hear
don't get
far
Daily
more
taking care
often
of
from
them
men is
and
that where
watching
they
them on
have a
TV.
disparity in taking care of the household bills and also taking care of the household chores, and it because they're with these ungrateful loser psychopaths that they still just get constantly nagged about it. It seems like they could never do enough because they have they have a little something that's been
Sounds like
fucked up in their brain,
projection.
usually from childhood,
Wait a
because they've
second.
been taught to accept any kind of behavior, no matter what it is, if it's coming
You
from
wanna
a
talk about your household life or something? I feel like this is coming internally. Is this the house? Is the
Hey, do you have a
call
criticism that
coming in
doesn't
the
just like
house?
revolve or center around me specifically, or
Well,
what?
I mean, you seem so upset, like, and you, like, chronically, like,
Okay.
changed topic of what we
I
were
don't think
actually
that
discussing.
I haven't
We're
seen me
talking about the
crying on
burden of the
stream or
house.
something like
We're
that.
talking
Maybe
about the
Wick has some
burden
kind
of
of
the
like
house.
Hold
AI
on,
filter over
just
my
hold on,
camera.
one at a time, because when you guys try to talk over each other, I can't hear either of you. Cham, finish your
My bad.
thought, and then go ahead.
I mean, we're talking about the household burden between a family, which is a wife, kids, and a husband, maybe more than
Mhm.
one kid, right? Do you think that the men is ever coddled in these families? Like they feel that okay, I bring financial money and I'm done for the day. Do you think they should just stop everything? Is that like the only thing they contribute to that family or should?
You asked two separate questions, which is
No.
are they coddled in this regard? I would say no, because I would regard coddling as if you get home and if you do have that view where it's just like, all right, well, I get home at 5 and now I'm done with everything. I have no other responsibilities, which is increasingly rare and obviously an exaggeration. But if you take it on its face, even, um, they don't get away with it, right? They get divorced, they get attacked, they get nagged consistently. There's plenty of social pressure not to engage in that behavior, which is why I think today the pendulum has kind of swung in the other direction, where it's like, okay, you have to be taking on more chores. You have to be, what's a constant refrain of people not having sex? It's like, well, have you tried helping out around the house? It's like, fuck, man, I get home, I've been working I have 1 hour commute each way. I work for 9 hours and I
She's
get
doing
home
the
and I
same.
fucking,
Yeah,
what?
But what if she's doing the same? That's the thing. So
What if
the
she's doing the
question is,
same for?
yeah, the question is is it? She asked literally, is it enough to just bring money and then come home and you're
No,
done for the day? No, yeah,
No,
that's
definitely
not
not.
it. And so you're saying that men don't get away with it when they actually do it anyway. When they do come home and ignore the child and don't help with the dishes and things like that, there are social consequences for that.
Yeah, I just don't see it, broadly speaking.
There's literally a term called single married like mother.
Yes, no, I know that women have a lot of terms for different complaints that they have about everybody around them, but I'm
Do you
suggesting that
blame a
some of it
woman
might
wanting to
come from
divorce?
people who are inclined towards complaining.
Do
No,
you
but
blame a woman not wanting to step out of a relationship if she's having to work, clean, and then also take care of the children, and then all the
I don't
man
blame
has to
her
do
at
is like,
all.
oh
That's
well,
the key.
she's feeling
I
like
don't blame her at all.
she's taking
But I feel like men do not have that same out, and that's how we distinguish who is being coddled.
the same out. What do you mean
What-
the men have the same
If a
out?
man is doing all the work and like bringing in the money and doing the majority of the
Yeah.
household work and chores
Oh.
and taking care of the kids, we still would not look on them favorably for stepping out of the relationship, especially if their wife isn't participating anymore.
I don't think it's
I
true.
don't
I
know.
think
I
that
think
if
I
a
don't
man
think
was doing most of the work and
Participating in
making the
what?
money, we'd all agree like this guy should get away from this
Mm.
girl. Like I don't think anyone, unless they're
He's not pulling
absolutely
her weight,
insane,
yeah.
would agree with that at all. I tell him
Not
to run.
quite, because when you went back, you started elevating the value of your own work. So to discourage that to begin with, like saying, hey, if you're working 8 hours and I'm cleaning the house, these are basically the same thing. I'm sorry, they're not. We
What
know
I'm
how
saying is
vacuums
that,
work.
can I ask you a question? Just out of
Mhm.
curiosity, do you think there's a difference between, and because some people do, between blue collar work and white collar work? Would you say that a man who does a blue collar job is doing more work or is having a more intense day than a man who's doing like a white collar job, and maybe his job is
Uh,
easier?
for the most part, because I'm doing both right now. I have two
Yeah.
jobs. The work from home job is definitely a little bit easier.
Yeah.
At
No,
least.
and I guess that's and the reason I only ask that question is because I'm curious on if you find a difference in this. So if a man was, let's just say, working from home full time, right, and he's done at
Mhm.
5 p.m. and he's still not helping around the house, would you see that as a difference compared to like a blue collar man who's been like on the oil rig all day, coming home and he's like,
Comes home at 5.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Huge difference. I mean, if you're working from home already, she's already annoyed because you're like there all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, why aren't you out hunting mammoths? Come on, man. And that's going to be exacerbated, I think, completely appropriately, if she then has to work. I mean, if you're making enough money, white collar job, you can have maids come in and stuff like. There's ways to offset it, but definitely, yeah. No, we're in agreement on that.
okay,
That's
but you're saying,
definitely
yeah,
what my husband would do without me. He would
yeah,
definitely just
so just to
outsource.
confirm, like if he's working from home, he should be doing more work. He would stay in the household. Like he's home, his job's not really, I guess you could say, that intense. He should be doing more work.
More
But on the-
in
Not in my
proportion to like
situation.
the blue collar guy.
But
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
flip side,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
when-
Okay.
Okay, no, I'm just curious. I just wanted to see what route, like where we all kind of stood with that, and if we
Because
found
the
differences
physical exertion. I'm in
Yeah.
agreement there. Yeah.
But then there's always the thing where women who work jobs like nursing jobs or other medical jobs in the medical field who are working like 12, 13-hour shifts and sometimes overnight shifts or swing shifts, they're still expected. It's not considered a white collar or blue collar job. Or wait, blue collar is the labor one. Yeah, it's not considered a blue collar job. But yet it almost is the same exertion as a man would experience if they were working an entire day, because it's quite literally like a 12-hour, 13-hour shift. And yet there's still expected to do all the things that women are supposed to do.
I want to
Okay.
read some super chats and memberships and things like that. So thank you for that. And then I have some questions. Maybe get us a little bit on point. I know that Mooncake gave her strongest example. I want to hear the other strongest examples from.
Oh yeah.
either one of you. Yeah. But let me read these real quick.
We're only on one.
Yeah, I know. Dylan Bowser, member for 12 months, a whole year.
Oh,
The
shoot.
panel should be forced to coddle Wick. I wish. Okay. That would be
Aw,
a great
Wiki.
Next time I go up to New Jersey,
Oh,
buddy.
you're doing such a good job reading those comments. Yay!
But
So proud of you. You can read.
Yay!
$5 from Audacity to say, why is the domestic violence rates for lesbian couples higher than heterosexual couples?
Isn't it the same for gay couples
Because
as
of
well?
the equal playing.
Yeah, when it's like
Equal
same
No,
sex.
not even
it's
fucking
higher.
close.
Alexander
They
Rin.
take that frustration out like cheating.
Would any of us know that? I don't know. Why
Yeah.
are people just violent in general? I mean, if you want to check genders, let's see who's the most violent in general. Who does the most rapings, the most killings, the most assaults?
Let's carefully
That's you.
curtail
It's you,
the
Vic.
constraints, the
Who's-
boundaries of our statistical
not
analysis
me.
here to make sure that we only get one result.
Okay, Alexander Rin, member for 4 months. Thank you. Who here actually has kids?
Not me.
Nope.
Not me.
Beautiful, wonderful.
This
Okay,
economy?
5,
Right?
6,
I
5, 5,
I
6
mean,
for
we know
$2.
the road it takes to have kids. Like, we have
Yeah.
friends and family with kids.
Having kids and
Almost
being on a Wick
not
show. That's crazy.
Yeah.
$2 from
Yeah,
five
I
five
was a
six.
kid at
On
one
here.
point. I got to observe the reality of a kid and people around kids.
Okay. Mowing the lawn, fixing crap count for housework? Question mark.
No.
How often do you fucking mow the lawn? But
In the
sure.
summer,
Okay,
like
so
once a
I'm
day.
correct. The first question is, well, is it really that important?
No, I
As
mean,
long
I
as
think
you
it
don't
is.
have a
Like
HOA.
just immediately
Count
denigrating
towards
it.
it.
Immediately denigrating it because you can't. Or because you're unwilling to, or because if I asked you to start a weed whacker, start a lawnmower, I would hear a lot about how it's too hard, even though it's like, just 40 pounds of pressure.
I think this
Like,
panel
you know,
has so much personal baggage with it. Everybody's talking about their own relationship.
No, I grew up
Yeah,
do you
well,
think
doing
women
a lot
don't
of
have the
outside
ability
work.
to-
Hold on.
about it.
I got some more to do.
What?
I got some more to do, and we'll get to them. But I want to make sure that I want to make sure, okay, that we don't turn this into a therapy session, okay, and that we stick to the more societal kind of examples that we can get to. $5
If
from
you were my
Audacity
therapist, what color would your couch be?
to say these women are stuck
very
with some weird social media driven concept of the typical household or some personal grievance. They seem mad, honestly.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm living the best
ladies.
life.
Yeah,
So
not me saying it.
You're so mad.
yeah.
Aren't you mad at Linda
Furious, dude.
Yeah.
and
Me
society?
too. So mad.
$5 from Alexander Rin.
Oh,
How do
So
you weigh
mad.
the amount of chore work done?
mm.
Interesting.
You have to write down like how many there are and whoever does it, and okay, how long it takes, because you have to really, really make sure that you know exactly who does what and how much. And then at the end of the month, you have to have a performance review to see who has done the most, because that's how love works. We really, really we keep score. It's healthy
Yeah.
that way.
In a relationship, just like financially, if one of your partners makes more money, are you going to have them do 50-50? No. You don't want the complete financial burden on one person. So just like chores, you calculate and put a percentage of how much X makes and how much Y makes. And then that will contribute financially to that. And you could do the same thing with chores. You could calculate how long it takes, how often it's done, how many hours maybe that person works, if they're tired after work and stuff like that. It's a partnership. You fucking figure it out like an adult.
Well, what I was going to say is that, like, just like a small example is like, for example, if you come home from work and you see, like, I'm washing the dishes and cooking and the dishwasher is clean, it takes like 5 minutes for you just to take the clean dishes and put them like in the cupboard. And like, that's enough just to be like, oh, I'm helping out, even if it's a very small amount, so that it makes it a little bit easier on her day. So I can quickly put them back in the dishwasher. So just little things like that. I don't
Her
think
day
that's
being at
Reduce
home
the
is
burden
the
of your
problem.
partner, not make it
No, but
worse
you know
for
what?
them.
He's gonna put
That's the person
the
that's
plates back in the wrong place.
well. That's I'm sorry, he's ignorant. I can't figure out where the fucking plates are, even though they've been there the same place for how many
I'm
fucking
bringing
years.
it. I'm bringing.
Yeah,
No
I
big
know.
deal.
I'm
the-
just saying.
the
I know.
competence.
Okay, let's
Yeah, for
I
again.
think evaluate things like chores
We're
and
not
stuff
here
like
for
that
the
based on
therapy session.
appreciation of what people are doing.
Yes.
Okay, Audacity, a member for 13 months, says 13 is bigger than 12. Get good, Bowser. True.
Oh, shit.
13 months. 13 is bigger than 12, gang. Alexander Rin for $5 to say, if we count any kind of hitting, women are 100% more likely to be violent. Men are more extreme in their actions. women treat it casually. I do want to hear the other
Better at
examples,
poisoning.
right? But one of the things that makes it hard to take some of this seriously from you women, right? No offense, is I see how you are treated when you do things versus how other men are treated when they do the same thing, and the difference is staggering. I'll give you an example. Okay. If a woman commits a violent crime, they are going to get, on average, a lighter sentence and are less likely to be sentenced, right? Or even arrested. Okay. Men are not coddled by any way, shape, or form by the justice system, especially in America, but women often are. Another example, a 24-year-old teacher sleeps with a 16-year-old student, not going to be the same type of stigma as a 25-year-old guy sleeping with a 16-year-old student.
It's men high-fiving each other. Women will be like, that's fucking gross. Yeah, it's men that are like, oh, why wasn't she there when I was there? Like, she's fucking hot. I want to fuck her when I was in high school. But women are going to be like, yeah, that's fucking gross. She's a pedophile. Like, we're okay with opening up and saying, hey, she's a fucking pedo. We're okay with saying that. But you men, like, high-five each other and, like, count it as like a fucking score in a game.
That doesn't seem to be my experience of women's reactions to this, by the way. I mean, that is
everyone. I bet every single one of us in here would say like she's a fucking pedophile if she's going after young boys.
Yep.
Do we all want to raise our hands if we want to agree or disagree? Yeah. She's a pedophile in my fucking book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But in terms, what Wick's claim was that in terms of the law, it actually doesn't come down to that. It's a lot of the time women are not given the same consequences as men. I think if we even want to go back to, I don't know, maybe I'm going to muddy the waters here, but just going to the thing, if a woman slaps a man, what happens? Man is not allowed to retaliate, anything like that, right?
Yeah, they can.
It's taboo.
But you have women that are just going ham on them.
No way. If a woman slaps me and then I slap her back, guess who's going to jail? Me.
Not
no.
I'm just saying that's what's gonna happen.
It fucking works, buddy. That's not how the law works.
And you are going to suffer more consequences,
correct.
more social pushback. Yeah.
The cops would arrest Wick after he had been slapped and called it.
If there are witnesses to say, hey,
not for retaliating.
For self-defense, you're telling me you can't get away with that.
I'm saying even worse than that, just for calling the police in that kind of DV situation, if you are the victim, there were still states up until a few years, I'd still be states, which is the standard practice, just like, all right, well, you're the guy, so we're going to take you out of the home.
Yeah, and it's fucking shitty.
Cops aren't doing a proper investigation, and those cops should be let go.
Yeah,
because if they're not doing a proper investigation,
yes. No, the main Mooncake. Hold on, Mooncake. Yes. Do you know why they won't do the proper investigation? Is because they are holding men to a higher standard than they do women. That's a society. You could say it's wrong. It is, but it's just true.
Once again, it's men doing
here's another aspect of coddling is where you suddenly have not had the right to vote for like the past 100 years.
Hold on, stop. Hold on, just stop. Yes, men are part of society too. And if you want to blame men for that, that's fair. But the question isn't, do women coddle men? The question is, does society coddle men?
Society.
Yeah, we can look at like shit like Brock Turner, where he like raped a girl and got probation. There are countless cases where men have committed
not countless.
terrible.
They're rare.
Yeah,
they're the outliers. The standard is to punish them brutally. The male standard for how do you react to rape is death. You should kill that guy.
Men get off quite frequently on these charges specifically. It is also hard to prosecute rape cases, and I think this is very well known. It is actually hard to prosecute those a lot of the times, and that is something to consider. Now, something Wick brought up about the system itself, the thing that I would pose is also an idea of pretty privilege. And I think when we think about that, pretty privilege can be for men and women. And I think that actually plays a really large aspect into why sometimes women even get a lighter sentence. When you're deemed more attractive, and they've been able to prove this, sometimes you get lighter sentences, and it happens for men as well. And I think that's also something to consider. Though I don't disagree that sometimes they do go a little more light when it comes to women. I do think that's also an issue, and I don't think anyone would say that's okay. If they're committing the same crimes, they should be doing the same amount of time. But then also we'd have to dive into race issues, because let's be honest, Black men are being prosecuted much more heavily on the same crimes as white men. That's another thing to consider. So I think there's all these broken parts of the criminal justice system that makes it like so complicated.
Also,
Doesn't take
It
away from
does,
the
but only
detail.
one side of the debate gets to retreat behind the idea that, like, oh, well, the men arresting them, or, go talk to the police, even though women are cops.
That's why I'm making my
No, we
face.
need to
And have been
reform
able
the
to
criminal
vote
justice
for the
system.
past 100 years. You're participants in society. I don't
But I'm
know
saying
what
there
this
needs to
idea is,
be.
that you're in
We
the
need to
fucking Middle
reform them.
Ages. Are you agents with your own, do you have agency or do you not?
so we have a prime example of society coddling a man for rape, and that would be, our president, Donald Trump, who was found liable for sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll. But, like, whenever you ask people about it, they'll be like, oh, it was rigged. Oh, the court was stacked. Oh, like, they literally make excuses for him or say that she was lying, and they're literally coddling him. Like, he was found civilly liable of this. I'm going to use the correct term and not say he was found criminally liable, because he was found civilly liable of doing that. And yet people still support him. Like, they're just like,
That was not criminally charged and arrested and stuff like that. So that's a pretty, I don't know if that's an excuse. That's a pretty common standard that people who built the legal system, or at very least have some expectations for the legal system, have, where you can't just say, this happened to me, therefore we go kill that guy. Because, again, we have this very high standard where if we saw this happening, if we had irreconcilable proof that this happened, we want that guy dead. And we built a society that aggressively punishes it.
So in the same vein,
hold on, finish, Alish. Then I want to hear from Kitteh, then Mooncake, then yeah.
Okay, well, in the same vein, it's like he literally said, and I'm using the same person, Donald Trump, because he's relevant. Grab him by the pussy. Everyone was just like, oh, he's just a guy, ha ha ha. It's so funny that he says that.
No, if you're talking about a consensual interaction, that was people's excuse for it.
What do you mean a consensual interaction?
The context of the audio was, or people's characterization of it, to be clear, was not simply like, oh, you could go up, you'd be walking down Fifth Avenue and, just 1, 2, 3, 4, get your curls in for the day. No, he's talking about, like, women that he's dating and with.
That's still
that he could do it.
It's an example of coddling.
You can't touch the woman you're having sex with. Okay, fine.
Okay, well, when you're out in public, like, it's not the expectation that you're like. Imagine if a woman was walking down the street with
talking about out in public. That's the deal.
Well, imagine if a woman was walking with a man and then just went and grabbed his nutsack and coddled his nutsack and
cuddled his nutsack,
rung it like a bell. Like,
have you
people would be like, what the hell?
Have you ever been a man? Just real quick to that point specifically. Have you ever been a man at a club? If you are, you'll know that women have no problem putting their hands on you. Okay.
I only do that at the strip clubs. That's where it's allowed.
No, I'm not talking strip clubs. I'm talking just a normal club. If a woman finds you attractive, they will put their hands on you. They won't ask. And to be clear, I don't mind it 90% of the time.
Fine.
Okay?
Which is totally fucking fine, just to be clear, Wick.
90% of the time, I don't mind it. But if a man does that,
we can talk about the 10%.
They are going to get kicked out of that club. Okay?
As they should.
No, they get kicked out when they're fucking going too far. And, like, it's not like you're walking past someone, like, get the fuck out of here, you touched a woman. No, that's not how you get kicked out of the club. It's literally when you, like, you have shitty-ass fucking behavior and, like sexually, like, harassing women and shit. It's not, like, just simple, like, oh, I walked past a girl, time to kick the fucking dude out.
Of course it's not.
So
they're not kicking out for walking past.
So it's not
for shitty fucking behavior.
I'm saying that the things that women can get away with are far. There's a far higher threshold than what men can, and in those kind of social settings. That's just true.
Just hold on. You're like overlaying my fucking argument by saying, oh, well, there's these differences in how we treat these people. And sure, but like we're talking about bad behavior and what societally punished behavior. And again, it's the negative behavior that we agree is negative, should be punished,
Yes, I think
is getting punished. And that's all it takes for it to not be coddling. We don't have to say that like there's an unfair standard or something like that. It's the negative behavior. It should be punished. It is getting punished. All it takes often is like a notice from anybody that, hey, this needs to stop right here. Bouncer comes over, we'll take you out. And that's good, and that's not coddling. Coddling would be if the bouncer isn't even there, if it's open season.
Mhm.
Well, the entire
I
existence.
think
Sorry, go ahead.
I think you're onto something there for the way this conversation should go, because we are really harping on comparisons of different things. I know it's relevant, but I was wondering if we could talk about the coddling of men without comparing to women. Let's talk about just things that men are supposedly men have make things easy for men. But just going back to the Trump thing, whatever you believe, I think what we're looking at there is people also just looking for excuses because they want their guy in power. So it doesn't actually matter what he did. It doesn't matter who it would be. If it was, say, Kamala who did did something as egregious, people would make mistakes for her, make excuses for her because she's on their team. That's what I'm getting from politics these days. Is if it's on your team, you make excuses for it. If it's not on your team, you condemn it to death.
I think to an extent. So with the Trump thing, the reason I said earlier, I just want to get your name wrong, Ash, when you were kind of explaining why he said grab her by the pussy, sorry, why he said that, and why he said it was kind of like calling him again, is because given his ties to a certain individual, and I hope I can say his name on this panel, Epstein, given that context with it, I would be more willing to question why he would make such comments and what it really means. Like it must be deeper than what all of us are thinking, given the context that we have now, right? And I think this is why we have to be careful with coddling men, because since we've coddled, for example, him so much, he's able to do anything. If anyone had that many pictures with Epstein, they'd be in prison. I can't even name another individual who.
Lots of people have that many pictures with Epstein who are not in prison.
At least not to my knowledge.
All of them, actually, all of them, except for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Sorry. Example. I'm sorry. I don't know. I haven't seen like Prince Andrew with him. I haven't seen. If there's like another individual that I don't know that has as many photos that I'm talking about with him, because Donald Trump has.
We have better than photos. We have like flight logs with these people who did not ban Epstein from their personal residences or events.
Did they release
like a black book? There's like a little black book that. Like,
no. So back from like I think from 2011.
Okay, I want to make sure this doesn't turn into Epstein debate. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like I like the idea. I like Kitteh's idea that we go towards like, okay, are men coddled, and we don't turn it into like a comparison fest, because it does get annoying.
Important, but it's important to, like, you need to compare things, right? That's like how life is.
It's important. Yes, it's important to complain and make sure that that's injected into the conversation.
You need to have an example of a bare minimum and a max minimum. That's like how life is. You can't just like do all the work and just be like, okay, well, I can't compare it to like what else is like that would be in life too. Like if you had a job and you were doing more than some other guy and your boss was like, well, I know you want a raise, but you can't compare it to that guy. Like, do you want that off the table?
No.
So, like, in a way, you do need to compare, because you need to compare the load in which, like, women have to, like,
do you think you could give it a
men.
shot, or is this weaponized incompetence in front of us? Do you think that you could give it a shot
to
just discuss the experiences of men? If you can discuss the experiences of men and say, within the experiences of men, not how they make me feel, not how they... whether or not there's some comparable thing on women's side or whatever, can you look at it through the lens of these guys and then say, here's how, even looking from their perspective, it's still coddling? I think that would be a boon to your argument.
I mean, you can't have that. If you have if you're explaining a workload in a
You can't
household of
look
family,
through the lens
if
of
you're
Let her
talking
answer
female.
the
about a
question. Let her answer the
family,
question real
if
quick.
you're discussing a major thing in society, which is a mom, dad, and family, why the fuck would you not compare the two, like the workload of the man and the woman? That's where the problem lies, is the
Mhm.
coddling. If you're gonna explain, if you're gonna like go towards that style, like that part, which family workload versus income load and all that stuff, then it needs to be compared.
Well,
That's
one
just
reason why
only
you might
fair.
not do it is because you could just endlessly bring up grievances that you have and personally bring them up and draw from personal examples or from TikTok trends or
You can
something
look up
like that.
statistics on why women are getting
Okay.
divorced. They're getting divorced because of the workload that is put on them, the mental load that's put on them, and to the point where women don't find the need to be with men because all that load is put on them.
Yes, no, I'm aware that they have grievances. I was just mentioning that a second ago. What I was saying is that you can endlessly stack those up on either side. And so if there's a piece of this conversation that is not just that, I think it would be, I agree with Kitty, it probably would be cool. And we could like set a time limit for it, even. Like, could you just look from the other person's perspective, which you said was impossible, but there's other panelists here, from the other person's perspective, say, from this person's perspective, even looking through their experiences, it would still be coddling if I was just taking it from their view.
You'd have
I
to ask
want to
them.
want to give it a shot.
Yeah. So like, let's say it's my best friend's wedding coming up and we're going to a bachelor party. Where is the bachelor party more than likely going to be? Like what would be the prime place for a bachelor party to be at?
Strip club.
The media thing is a strip club.
Thank you. Yes, strip club. And that's considered normal in society. That is a coddling of men because they have the expectation that they're going to go to a strip club and they're going to idolize women and their wives just have to be okay with it. Because they're going to get married soon, so the old ball and chain is coming on. So like the existence of strip clubs and the fact that it's even normalized and places like the red light district exist in Las Vegas proves that society already normalizes the coddling of men.
Well, hold on. Are you talking about just the
Sorry.
weddings or the? Because I agree with the bachelor party thing. I don't know that the existence period.
Yeah, the existence is, I
coddling.
mean,
I
no,
think
the
a great example would really just be at the end of the day, the term boys will be boys, which is essentially a term used a lot of times to dismiss like a man's like behavior, like their
Yeah,
inappropriate
his
behavior
normal
or their actions.
behavior.
Oh, it's their natural instincts, and it's coddling.
I just want to make a mention
No,
of
it's not
something.
coddling.
Oh,
It's a shield from. Or sorry, you
no,
first.
no,
I've been
no,
talking
no, no,
too
no.
much.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I know we're kind of going back and forth.
No,
No,
I'm going to let that thought bake for a little bit.
and I don't want to compare because I do understand what you're saying by not just comparing the sexes, because like how far does that really get us? The only thing I wanted to make a mention of, and it was mainly to Alish, is that when you brought up the red light district and things of like that, I'm very careful with that part only because when it comes to sex work, for example, I believe that women have agency as well. So if you do want to be in prostitution or sex work, you are allowed to do so, right? Even though I do think sometimes men can be the highest benefactors of that. I do think women also are allowed to have that choice if that's something they would wish to participate in. That's just one mention I wanted to make. I know I don't think you're saying anything bad around that, but I'm just very,
no.
I
Yeah,
guess,
I mean, I
careful with
agree
that.
with you.
Yeah. So,
I agree with you, but like the fact that it's normalized for women to work in sex work
yeah.
because men want that satisfaction, but then also on the flip side there's this expectation that women are chaste and aren't run through and are like have zero bodies, in their words. It's just like kind of weird. It's like, well, which one is it? It's okay for women to do sex work, which yes, it is okay, but also if you're marrying this woman, it's not okay for her to have multiple partners.
Yeah, no, and no, I wouldn't even disagree with that, and I don't think most people would disagree that that is part of a problem as well.
Mhm.
The only other thing, and oh no, I don't know why it's slipping my mind. Was about the boys will be boys. I think that was a good example to bring up, and I forget. I think it was Yesselman brought it up. Is that is true? You hear that from a very young age. Oh, if they hit somebody, that's just a boy being a boy, and like you do hear it as you get older if they're very like physical or violent, boys will be boys. If they break someone's heart, boys will be boys. And I think
Locker room
that
talk
is
is a good one.
exactly, it's just boys being boys. But when do you like? I just think that in itself is very dangerous because once you start to excuse certain behavior because you just say, well, this is how boys are, you're basically creating a dangerous dynamic within them. That's like, okay, now we've normalized all the violent behavior. Does that kind of make sense what I'm saying? You guys can disagree,
It's
but
internally consistent. I think that it's. Oh wait, Kitteh, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this boys will be boys. If we want to look at that as like the bastion of coddling, wouldn't that also be detrimental to men as well? So you're dismissing bad behavior. Here's a sensitive little boy who doesn't want to get hit in the face, but actually, sorry for you. That's just life. That boys will be boys. Toughen up.
yep.
Take a glass of concrete and get over it. Isn't that quite a tough thing to put onto men? Isn't that not coddling? That's detrimental. That
Well,
kind of digs
to
away at them.
yeah, to be clear, I would think that the argument that something is coddling and something is detrimental aren't necessarily at odds. The argument could be made that coddling someone is a detriment to them. It is doing something that is inappropriate that will hurt them in the long term. And I think that a lot of women, to take the other side for a moment, would say that a lot of men have suffered because they've been coddled. Because they've been coddled so much, they have forgotten how to do the very basic minimums things that they need to get women. And that's one of the reasons we have a loneliness epidemic, is because they've been told, hey, bro, it's not your fault. Nothing, you know what? It's okay that you don't take care of yourself. You don't shower. You don't do anything. That those women, they're just whores. Okay? They're just whores online, and they're all just chasing the alpha, okay, right? They're going after the 10% or the 20% of men, right? And that's on them. You've done nothing wrong, King. I hear that a lot too. So I think that's probably the strongest argument that the women folk here have, is that, yeah, there is a lot of people who are telling men, it's not your fault. It's okay. You don't have to do anything. Oh, you're a precious snowflake baby. When no, you need to get your shit together. No one's coming to save you. Okay?
I think there's a lot of people saying both things. There's not only that message of it's not your fault. I think is a certain segment that goes that way, that tries that, which I would say is the red pill, extreme red pill kind of narrative. But the sort of centrist normal masculinity thing is work on yourself. It's you are the problem. Whereas let's not go into the comparison. So work on yourself. You are the problem. You have you need to you can even learn to be good with women. All of that. And again,
yes,
other
some
things in
people
life.
do say that, Kitteh.
I think
some people do say that, but there is
It's
a
like,
large and growing
that's
portion.
said for like a second, and then it's like flips to like, well, anyway, those fucking bitches don't fucking talk to you anymore. Here's why.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
the red pill guys like Rollo Tomasi and people like that, they describe that as the anger phase, where you first get into this, your eyes are open and all of a sudden you are given a new worldview or a new, I don't know, some new exposure to reality, saying that like this is actually, things are not set up in your favor. Things are not actually set up just to have you succeed all of the time. And actually, sometimes it's a little bit in the other direction, where not to have you succeed at all. So that does make people angry. But it's understood within those communities, at the very least on the core of those communities, that's a season of your life that's supposed to come to a close pretty quickly, so that you can, take that anger, take that energy, and take it out on improving yourself. And now that you know that things are not fair and that things are not, the model that you were sold to by your church or by your dad or by your single mom or something like that, now that you know that those models of relationships are wrong and you're pissed off about it, now it's time to actually go out and do some work.
Okay, so it's a.
But there are these outline
progression,
communities that say, just stop there.
Yeah, just stop there. That's what Wick is talking about. I wanted to ask. Let's focus on this idea because Wick, you were saying that coddling can be detrimental and all of that.
Coddling is detrimental. Like I can't think of a
Yeah.
situation where you were coddling someone and that's good for them.
Is a good thing. Yes. So let's talk more about what coddling itself is. Okay, so we're talking about extreme care, preferential care, I suppose. It seems like this point actually is moot because we could find, I guess this gets to the point where we could find examples for coddling in every bit
Anecdotes?
of society.
Sure.
There's certain things.
No, I get what you're saying, Kitteh.
Yeah.
Yes, you can find anecdotes, and we can go back and forth. And we were going back and forth for quite a while with
We're not
dueling
gonna get an
anecdotes. But what I wanted to ask, and what I want the panel to discuss, is the societal kind of generalities. And I think that there are some generalities that are just true when it comes to men. Now, I happen to be on your side of the argument, Kitteh, right? But there are other, right? There are other like things that we have to look at. There are some ways that men are given a pass that women aren't. And yes, you have to compare them because, okay, coddling compared to what, right? What does preferential treatment look like unless you can see preferential
Without
compared
comparing.
to what, right?
No, I don't think that coddling has to be preferential treatment. I think coddling can be individualized. It probably should be, if we're being honest. Oh, careful, there's a dog on. Oh, no, it's a cat. I thought.
cat.
That's not a
It's a
dog,
oil just
bro.
complete-
What the hell?
Listen, I only
kind of
saw.
dog is it?
I
You
only
ain't never
saw- I'm
see
not
a
gonna-
pussy
why am I
before?
admitting myself. I mean,
Oh, what
That's
a
a
beautiful
big
baby.
boy.
Okay, he's on a
Oh,
diet.
thank
He's
you.
trying his best.
He's a chunky
What a
guy.
big boy.
Oh no.
I think that you can evaluate coddling on like an individual basis. Like here's one that like I get pissed off about, and this is maybe a little bit personal, but I am annoyed that men are not trained how to clean properly when they are kids outside of very specific circumstances. Like cleaning is a skill. You can learn it. You can get better at it. And this eventually leads to the point where you figure out, actually, it's not, it's not the biggest thing in the world. It is an additional workload on top of your day, but it's not like, it's not this towering thing that you were led to believe when you grew up with it. Mostly, I think, because, say this, maybe it's too personal. I think a lot of mothers enjoy the privilege of saying, you didn't do it right, or you didn't do this, and not actually teach them how to do it. Whereas there's not a thing with like men teaching you how to do landscaping and yard work, for instance, because they want you to, because it will save them labor. If nothing else, it will save them labor if you don't fuck up learning how to use this weed whacker.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think there could be that dynamic that could work, that could happen. That's what I mean by moot point, because you can imagine that dynamic occurring, but you could also imagine a woman literally dealing with like the incompetence. What's the name? False incompetence. What do we call it?
Weaponized
Weaponized
incompetence.
incompetence. Where you pretend to not know how to do something in order to...
Or do it poorly. In order to not
well, that last part is the tricky part, because if somebody doesn't have a habit of doing something or a skill of doing something, you guys like to play this both sides game a lot, where it's, okay,
but that's not what we're talking about.
So it's weaponized incompetence, but also I don't have to teach you how to do it better, and I never have to be involved in the process of you improving this, and it's the fact that you did it wrong is because it's responsibility. Easy, but also it takes me 8 hours and it's the most difficult thing in the world, and it's equivalent to a full-time job. I think these are
you have to be
mutually
willing.
incompatible. I think a lot of guys get a little frustrated with it.
Well, you have to be willing to actually learn it.
Who did we lose?
Mooncakes.
Give me a second.
First of all, I think a lot of things, when it comes to that, a lot of things are something men fucking should know anyway. Like, but at a certain age, you should know how to do your laundry. You should know like basic fucking life tasks. No one like a woman shouldn't have to teach you that. That's just like basic. Like, how did you
Who
do
should
stuff
have to teach you it?
before?
Like, when do you just like come out
Your
of the womb
parents.
and understand it?
Hopefully, your fucking parents or whoever is in your life that is teaching you life skills and shit like that, whether it's your grandma, it doesn't matter. Someone in your life that fucking should be doing that, not your girlfriend, not your wife. Like, you should
So
be
if
way
they
past
don't,
that.
So if they don't, then you just have free license to continue to be with them, but also
Like,
to
do you think,
continuously
like,
just
just
hammer this fucking, pleasure button of like, oh, you suck at this. You suck at this so bad. Oh my God, you suck at
like,
this.
if you
That's
think
that's
you're
not
bad at
healthy.
something, look into it and do research on it.
What if I ask the person who's claiming to be better at it than me and know how difficult it is, but is also doing it better? Would that be so fucking unreasonable?
Does someone do laundry
What?
better than someone else? Like, this, we're talking about like basic
Sure.
household shit. How do you
Sure,
do
a lot of
laundry better
fucking
than one
people.
person? That's
Oh, here's
crazy.
one fucking example. A lot of people don't know they have to take the lint out of the dryer, out of the lint catch out of the dryer, or else it's going to take longer to do that. That's men and
No,
women
you
don't
should
know
know
that.
how to
Because
fucking
you
do that.
don't
You know
know.
what you're
No, you
doing.
shouldn't know. Somebody
Household
has to
shit.
tell you that. That's information somebody else has to give you.
That's
Just
something
like
you
if I
learn in
handed you a
life.
weed whacker, and you didn't know, no, see, you were taught this. And so you can't imagine somebody else not being taught this.
I think
That's what it comes down
Weed
to.
whacker
taught
and a
I don't
dryer
know.
are not the same thing.
I don't know about you, but every single one of my man friends, my women friends know that. My fucking children know that. So I don't know. Maybe you're taught poorly. Maybe you grew up
How
in
did your
like
children
a
figure it
third
out?
world.
How did your children figure it out? Did they come out of the
Probably
womb knowing it?
the parents. You get like, I don't know. Your parents usually tell you, or you watch your parents or something
No,
like that.
did you?
I don't know. Did I?
Yes, you said you have
Me?
kids.
No, I don't have kids. We all said we don't have
Oh,
kids.
I'm
I said
sorry.
like no.
That was a sorry.
I mean, if my
That's
cat
the kid in
counts.
the background there.
That was
Yeah.
Ask
the
your cat if he
fatty.
knows how to do.
Cats aren't
He's
kids.
about to
Okay,
attack
let's
all
keep
my
going.
claims.
No, I bring this up because if I handed you a weed whacker and you didn't know how to prime it, like, hey, press this little button a bunch of times before you start yanking the chain, I would not hold that against you.
I
might, if I explain it 10 times, I might start getting annoyed, but
And
I don't
that's where
expect you to have that kind of knowledge out of the womb.
But that's where weaponized incompetence comes from, is when you're told multiple times and you continue to fucking fail at that job. That is where women get pissed off about. It's when you're chronically telling your partner, hey, this is the way it's done, this is the way it's done, and it's like, oh, I forgot, or I didn't know, and that's where the weaponized incompetence is. It's not about the first time you ever fucking did it, women are going to be pissed at you. No, most partners are going to be like, oh yeah, let me fucking help you out there. This is how I usually do it in the household. That's a normal thing.
No,
That's
this is a
not what
goalpost shift because you just went on this long tangent
That's-
about how like somebody else should have told you, and no, you cannot expect your girlfriend or wife to teach you about this.
Well,
Even
I
though
mean, if you're doing
obviously as a man,
laundry-
I would never have that idea for another person. I just have the competence. I have the basic competence to know
you
that if
haven't
I
spent
have a
your whole
skill,
life with
I
a
can
woman or a
teach
girlfriend.
somebody else how to do it. And if they do it poorly, that reflects poorly on me. So I put more effort into making sure I train them to do it correctly.
Have you never done laundry before you had a girlfriend? Like,
I
that's
do
the time
the
you fucking
laundry
learn.
in my house. I do
Before you
all
ever
of the
had.
laundry.
So when
I
did you
do
start
only
that?
laundry.
When did you start that? At what age?
When I was taught to do it at like
What
6 or
age?
something.
Okay, that's when you fucking figure it out. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about
No,
way
no,
later
it's
down the
not.
fucking
Whenever
road.
you fucking figure it out, you don't. It didn't happen to me because
This
I
is a
turned
fucking
6.
adult. It's literally
Actually,
adult
because
shit.
somebody taught me how to do it. Do
Yeah,
you not
because
understand this?
Because you're comparing shit that people should already fucking know as an adult. That's what you're trying to. Oh,
You have the view that
someone
somebody
should
should
know at
already know
25
it
how to do
based
that.
on the fact that you know it.
Women are expected to know it right off the bat. Like, imagine
They are trained to do it.
I've gotten by.
train. Like,
So once
I don't
again,
think I
men are
was
coddled
ever
because
trained.
men aren't trained to do it. Is that what you're saying? You were never trained?
I was
No,
never
I don't
trained.
think I was ever
Never
trained how
trained
to
at what?
push. I was
To
never
do
trained how to
laundry.
push
To be
around
an
a vacuum
example.
cleaner. Like
Okay.
that doesn't
But-
require
but
I
training.
got
hold on,
some.
there are better and
Okay,
worse
okay,
ways of
okay.
living around a
Okay.
vacuum cleaner. This is
Okay.
totally fucking insane.
Okay. I got some more super chats and stuff to read, and then we're gonna get. I got a couple more questions. Okay, and then we're gonna get through this.
Is it different kitty? Sorry.
So many kitties. Okay,
Hey.
kitties everywhere today. Member for 10 months. K, thanks for the 10-month membership. I'm a stay-at-home with 5 kids. It's easier than a 9 to 5.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
No, they don't have
Okay.
5K.
That's a cap.
They're liars.
$10. $10 from Malik to say, can we define coddling? It seems to mean male behaviors I don't like to most of the panel. So coddling to me is when you give not only preferential treatment, but you excuse bad behavior, you treat as a child, all these things, right? That would be coddling to me.
Yeah, to me,
Audacity?
it's like lack of accountability. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. If you have a
Pandering.
different definition, go ahead.
Yeah, just like lack of accountability, kind of like excusing certain behaviors, stuff like that.
Close
That's
enough.
a good one. I like that. Lack of accountability.
$5.
Yeah.
$5 from Audacity. Criticism of boys will be boys would have more weight behind it if it wasn't also espoused by the matriarchal side of society. Thank you for $5. $5 from Pleb. Question to Rube and Wick. In general, are men provided more privileges or more detriments in society? Rube, you want to take that one first?
Well, it depends on depends on what the definition of is, because you could say like having a penis, is that provided by society? It's a pretty big privilege. I like it.
Not provided by
A lot of
society.
advantages in
It
society.
would be crafted. It would be
In a
roundabout
crafted
way.
as an advantage by society. I understand what you're going with.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think men. Which older than me, buddy? How do you feel?
Well, I think that in general, what aspect? Like, this is a really hard question to answer. I think it comes out pretty even at the end of the day. Like, for every privilege I have, I can think of one downside there is to being a man, right? So in general, it's really hard to kind of gauge these things. I would say it comes out even. Maybe that's a coward's answer. It's just what I think at the end of the day.
I'm pretty close. I don't know how different I would have it in my ideal society. Like most of the things I complain about are just like, okay, you're not letting me work, or you're not teaching me how to do these things that you complained about later. It's mostly things.
I'll
that
give you
I
one.
could
I'll
take
give you one of each.
Over.
As a
Ooh.
man, it's easier for me to be taken seriously by society. I am much more likely to be listened to seen as someone who should be professorial, if you will, right? Like, oh, Wick must know what he's talking about in this instance. That's easier as a man. It's not impossible as a woman, but it's easier as a man, okay, to come across as knowing what you're talking about. It's much harder to date as a man, I would say. I think that
it's probably difficult for everyone.
Sure, but having
men
the
are
onus.
ugly.
Hold on, let me explain. The onus society puts on you,
No,
the
they're
man,
not.
as being the initiator of things. That is a burden that women don't have to bear. They just don't. And I think that makes it easier for women rather than harder. But you know, I've never been a woman, so I don't know, right? Like, that's the thing.
But the men also hold the standards to what the relationship should look like.
But let's well, who knows? $5 from Chipingro. Say, raise your hand if you can change your own oil. Yes. Change a tire. Yes. Clean a carb when the mower won't start. I don't know what that is, so I don't know.
I think it means carburetor.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a car. I live in.
I
the
knew he
city,
meant
so I don't
carburetor,
have
so
to
I
worry
should
about
be.
that.
I don't have a lawnmower.
I don't have a yard.
The lawnmower,
Now my mower
motorcycle,
won't
like-
start. I can't fix a mower. I just can't. So, but I can change my own oil and change the tire.
You'll YouTube it.
Carbureting's
probably-
pretty easy.
look,
once
at the
you
end of the
learn
day-
how
most
to
men
do
don't
it.
know how to do that anyway. They literally take it to the fucking shop. Like,
Yeah, if I
I
knew,
refuse to fix a car.
look, if I needed to,
It's a
there's a
man's
lot I
job.
could do. But I,
Exactly.
again, if my car breaks down, I take it to the shop. I don't do it myself, right?
There are
Crazy.
people for this.
Yeah, that's crazy. What are you talking about? Like, if my computer breaks, okay, if I can't immediately fix it, I'm taking it to the store. I'm taking it to the shop. I don't know what you're talking about. If I break my arm, I'm not gonna fix it myself. I'm going to the fucking
Why not?
doctor, right? Like, what's
You're a
going
man,
on?
you can do that, okay?
Yeah, five
So-
five
Well, you have
Canadian
the
dollars from Big
humility
Boss.
and understanding that other people. Oh, go ahead.
$5 from Canadian from Big Boss to say, if men were being coddled, they would be satisfied with the progressive status quo. Yet they are abandoning the left for Orange Man, of all people. Oh, and Cham Girl, thank you for the 5 Twitch subs. It's rare I get Twitch
Whee!
subs. Thank you. $5 from Testicle Johnson. No one teaches women how to clean. It's an innate skill they're born with, like how men are born knowing how to use a grill and cook meat. And then
Am I
finally,
also
born with it.
Am I born with cooking skills as well? Because I'll show you something. No,
Maybe she's
You
born with it.
underestimate
Maybe it's
my
capable.
Yeah, we just come out of the
Like-
womb just ready to fucking clean and shit.
$5 from Audacity
the
to
only
say,
thing, yeah.
Wick, I'll coddle you by fixing your mower. If it ever breaks, I'll call you, buddy. Okay.
That's
But
very
I
sweet.
guess at the end of the day, well, what it comes down to is like, in what ways, I guess to the other side, to Kitty and to Ash here, what ways are men not coddled? Because we just saw the Vice President of the United States make excuses for men who are talking about gassing people, about graping people, right? Who
About
had a
being
whole
gay,
discussion
which are going
chat.
to leave out to load the argument.
Say it one more time.
About being gay, which are going to leave out to load the argument and
Oh,
pretend
they
that
used
this
the
was
S
like,
word,
you
the
know, a
N word,
terrorist.
all the words that
No,
used.
claiming
Yeah, I
that
just
they
don't care about
themselves
that.
were gay.
Do they think they
Huh?
were gay?
Huh?
Were they
They
gay?
jokes apparently did that.
No, they made joke. Well, oh, I don't know what you think. I did see what I thought were jokes in there about they themselves being gay.
But my point is, right, like, that society, in large part, seems to be coddling these guys. They're going to get away with it. Right?
Yep. They will.
Oh yeah, so getting away with something that is normal is good and pro-social and beneficial. And anybody who disagrees is the same kind of person who shot Charlie Kirk.
Oh
Wait,
man.
And we've been
Oh man.
coddling
Are we
the
serious?
emotions,
Are we serious?
coddling the emotions of people who are neurotic, psychopathic losers for
At
so fucking
some
long
point-
that they don't know how to react
Can
when
we,
people,
can we
yes,
just be
people
real?
make jokes in
Just don't get
private with
emotional.
their friends.
Hey,
They
man.
people with friend groups. This is unknown to most
Okay,
of them.
hold on,
We'll
just real
play
quick. Hold
gay
on, just real
chicken
quick.
with-
Just
no, I'm
real
gonna
quick.
finish. We'll play gay chicken with each other about how extreme they can make individual jokes about things that they would
Ash.
never do in real life, opinions they do not hold, because it's away from the prying eyes of fucking losers.
I just got I got a real question for you, Ash. Which women in your life have you joked about raping?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Name them.
Does Bugs Bunny and Hillary Clinton count?
No.
Hillary
Fuck.
Clinton does count.
Hillary Clinton.
Well, can we get a poll?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, people who thinking, oh, it's normal to joke about, like, raping people. Okay, who have you joked about
Yeah.
raping? I'm really curious. I've never joked
Depends
about
on the
raping
phrasing of
anyone.
the joke.
Question.
Were they joking about raping somebody? Or were they joking about like the fucking colonial? They're like, oh yeah, the colonials came over and had sex
Well,
with a bunch
they-
of women. It's like,
there's
no,
a
they
couple
just took them.
comments.
Not
One
Then
was
somebody
that.
else came in and said, actually, sex with women is gay.
Let's,
Can I ask a question, Wick? Just to clarify
So
something.
just yeah, in a second, but let me
Sure.
read out these things. So yes, you're right. One of the instances was someone saying sex is gay. Someone else says sex, it was rape, and some other guy says epic. I'm inclined to think maybe a joke. But then you have someone saying,
Well, who did he rape?
well,
If it wasn't a joke.
you're about to hear it. Rape
Uh-oh.
Hayden, Moseman declared the following month. So they're calling out people to be raped. like specifically by name.
Ew.
Rape who?
I don't know who this Hayden
Ugh.
guy is, right?
Is that like another person in the group chat?
I
Who does
don't
that?
think so.
Because hey, you know what? Xbox Live, Geo, I swear to God, get in the fucking turret, or I'm gonna come over there and touch you. I'm gonna fly back to New Jersey.
Yeah,
and touch
I
you.
just,
I've done it. I've done
Okay.
it. I'm guilty of being in a 2007 Halo 2 Xbox Live chat.
Yeah, but we're talking about a group that like represents like a voting group and
Other
some
people
that
who do that, yeah.
and people that are essentially employed in like the government. So not really.
Yeah, other
I wanna
normal
give the,
people who have done that in a group chat.
Sure, just real quick. I knew Mooncake wanted to ask me a question, and I wanted to give her the chance to do so. Go ahead.
Well, this is also to Ash, and I find this very interesting. And now here's the thing: I actually like dark comedy. You can call it dark comedy. I appreciate it. I make like a few, I would say, very interesting jokes. My issue is that when it came to Charlie Kirk, as soon as people started making jokes, it was we have to go after their jobs. We have to go after their careers. They have to be fired from the school board just because this guy who was a podcaster, unfortunately, passed away, right? But as soon as people started making jokes about that, it's inherently an issue. Now, if someone criticizes the jokes made by a specific group who are leading members within whatever they're doing, Republican members, we can't criticize that, or we shouldn't. When at the end of the day, given the political climate that we're in, those jokes are more than just jokes. And we can all say that to every joke, there's sometimes a little bit of truth. And given the fact that a lot of them probably already have these feelings based on the things that they say, the things they post, making jokes about gassing people, the watermelon people, rape, as Wick said, should actually be taken very seriously, given the rise of also domestic terrorism being committed by white men specifically. And I don't know if we're looking at it, a majority of the Republican Party are white men. These jokes shouldn't just be taken as jokes.
And I'm also just really
Those
curious.
jokes should be taken more.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to ask a clarifying
I'll
question
let you
because
respond in a
I'm going to
second.
jump in because I know that you're going to run the fence for the Charlie Kirk assassins.
Hold on. Just to let you know, I'm just really curious what the joke here is. When they say, I was about to say you're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest. What's the joke? What's the funny?
The same one that Jerry Seinfeld said on Norm Macdonald, where he said, two Jews walk up to each other. You're not going to get it because you're a Gentile. But two Jews, the setup for the joke, he's going to get it because he is, but you're not going to get it. Saying to Norm Macdonald, who is Gentile. Two Jews, they pass each other on the street, and the one says to the other, and that's a setup for the joke, is that they're both Jewish. One says to the other, how's business? And the other one says, terrible. Now, you're all Gentiles, so you're not going to get it. But it was very funny to the other Jewish guy on the show. So people have been making that joke since Larry David came out of the fucking womb.
But we're talking about you expecting the Jew to be honest, which means Jewish people are dishonest. But I don't know.
Okay, so if it's not a joke, it means every single Jewish person on planet Earth, right? Oh, sorry, my bad.
Hold on. No, of course not.
About like gassing the Jews?
What it sounds... But I don't know about that, but the way it sounds to me is that there is a Jewish person in the chat and they're poking fun at him. They're being like, it's being like Cartman, just saying, haha, look at the Jews. That's what I would think if it's a joke, but I don't know the rest of the context, how they get to this. You're expecting the Jew to be honest.
Sure, I'll give you the context.
I would think is
listen, the racist community is
I'll
very
give you the
diverse.
context from the article. Sure. It says, in another instance, Douglas, the Vermont state senator, describes to the group members how one of Paget's Jewish colleagues may have made a procedural error related to the number of Maryland delegates permitted at the national convention. And that's when he says, she says, because it's his wife who says this, in the group chat, says, I was about to say you're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest. Then that's not you. That's not giving your friend shit. That's literally saying a Jewish person was dishonest because they're Jewish. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a joke to me.
Pork found in kitchen.
Right? Like that doesn't sound funny, haha.
It is.
No, that's not funny, haha.
It's also like these are people that work in government that represent the people. Just a reminder, this is people that work in government that are held to a higher standard than the average Discord fucker. So it's a little different we're talking about than just like your Discord chat. These are people that hold high fucking offices or family members that hold high power, and they're saying shit like that. It's inappropriate. It's uncalled for. It does not represent the American people, and it's fucking trashy.
Yeah, and
Yep.
then the vice
It's
president
within a
goes
private
problem.
group
off and
chat.
says
They
it's
have the
fine.
freedom to do that. They should have the freedom to do that. They
This
do
is private
represent
community,
every other
right?
normal person in this country who lets loose and says inappropriate shit or whatever the fuck they want
What
in
the
the
fuck?
privacy of communications with their friends, not in public.
Just because it's private
Right,
doesn't mean it's
but
okay. Like, would we have said that to the
Yeah.
Nazis? Oh, the
No.
Nazis are
Yes, it
planning the
does,
murder
actually.
of Jews en masse.
It
They
makes
they
it
kept
totally
it
fucking fine.
private.
We're good to go, guys. Like, no, what are we talking about? Just because it is in the privacy of said home doesn't mean that it is okay thing to do or a normal thing to do. I'm not going to normalize
Yes, it
making
is.
jokes about the Jews or the blacks or the Mexicans or any other marginalized group because it is not normal. It might be normal for you, but it is not normal on a societal level, especially when you're going to live in a society that has diversity. Yeah, there's some things that we should be a little bit careful with. It's called being tolerant. And at some point, I'll say this, we should not be tolerant to these ideals, to the extreme right. Now, here's the thing. I despise Charlie Kirk. Did I think he should have been? Of course not. Of course not. Should jokes have been made about him being? Of course not. However, if you're going to make jokes like this, I don't want to hear any complaints
Jokes are totally
across
fine
the
about Charlie
aisle
Kirk,
Yeah.
just to be
about
clear.
Charlie.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of people who are not okay with it. There are a lot of people
It's
who are not.
amazing
and
that they
understand.
missed his head. It's amazing that they shot him in the neck, given his head was such a
I'm just
huge
saying,
fucking target.
even if you look at the chats, you
There.
can see there are people who are saying, "Oh, you can't joke about that." Well, there should be nothing on jokes then. If we can say that like this is
I'm like
okay,
targeting
let's
at
joke
people
about everything.
who are just joking. There are people who are celebrating it, encouraging more of it, and
That's
happy
what they're
that it happened.
joking. They're joking.
It's a joke,
I
bro.
can
Why can't
totally
you just take the
understand from
joke?
your
It's
perspective.
just a
funny.
joke.
Yeah,
I can
and
totally
when they
understand from
joke,
your
they got
perspective
fired.
how there could be a difference between those two things. I totally get that.
Right,
Right,
but
and
when they
that the
joke,
Sorry.
crackdown seen from the other side might be seen as like taking all of it down.
That's my only thing. My issue is that
What?
if we start demonizing everything, right? Right now, Republicans have most of the power. If Democrats were in the same position, decreasing speech the way that Republicans are, it'd be a huge issue. It'd be a huge issue, especially when it comes to quote unquote.
They might
humor.
ban us from Twitter. They might ban us from YouTube and Facebook
But you
and our
know,
bank
the
accounts.
pendulum always swings. So for right now, the right may have this hold on the culture that we're looking at, but that won't last forever. And I don't think people understand or recognize that.
No,
This is
we
going to become a
understand. That's
huge
why we're
issue.
desperately trying to encourage our elected officials to, I'm nominally on the right, barely. I keep telling Wick, I really am mostly a lefty, but on the right, encouraging their elected officials to, hey, maybe don't just kind of, maybe a memorial coin for Charlie Kirk isn't the thing to do right now. You've been written a blank check to write pretty much any legislation you want. Crush these people in a way that they cannot recover from in 4 years. And by these people, we mean financier networks, we mean mobs of, in some cases, armed criminals who go around and make it impossible to have a normal political society in which we have a real left and a real right. Instead, it's just war communists and race communists fighting back and forth. And people are sick of it. But I totally get why the crackdown on all of it could be seen as like, all right, well, there were people here who were just joking. And on my side, the excuse is, or my perceived side, the excuse is, well, they weren't just joking about it, they were celebrating it. I totally get that. But we've been down this road before. It's not year fucking zero. We know what comes from giving you guys a fucking inch on attacking people for just having private communications that should never be under the microscope. It's evil.
We're a little off topic, and this is perhaps my
over.
fault.
It's done.
This is perhaps my fault. But I do want to make sure.
Sorry, Wig.
No, it's all fine. It's fine. This is a topical.
Just
Okay, this is
boomer
topical.
ranting.
Okay. Is this evidence, right? Well, let's take it from society. Who do you think coddles men more? Or, if at all, the right or the left? Who coddles men more? The right or the left? What do we think?
I think in some respects it
The right.
is the right. Yeah.
I would say the
I
right.
think we could find examples on both sides.
And what are
For
examples
both.
of the left coddling men?
But what's more?
We
Left
can,
coddling
yeah.
men could be you know what, you're actually allowed. Your feminism is good for you. It allows you to have free emotions, be more like a woman. It's fine. You have been damaged by patriarchy just as much as we have. That whole narrative can be used to coddle men. Same thing. Yeah, I think it works that way. Also with sexual freedom, it kind of that you're kind of when you're trying to bring women up to the standard of men, in terms of women can be as loose as men or should be able to be as loose as men. That also kind of excuses men instead of saying, hey, maybe we should all be a bit more sexually conservative. We're going, no. The default is have sex with everyone, and it's all good. Sexual freedom, sex is sex. It doesn't matter. That's kind of also giving men a pass on being overly sexual, and hypersexualized.
I mean, they've always
So I
been
would say
overly
the
I like that
sexual
pass.
since like the dawn of time. Like, didn't King Charles have like how many concubines? I think they've always been. I don't
But
think it's the left and right.
Who the
No,
fuck is King Charles? You just made that guy up.
now instead of saying,
He doesn't
hey
exist.
men,
King Henry VIII.
now instead of saying, hey men, don't be whores,
But there's
you're
purity
saying,
culture in
hey
the
girls,
right
you
for
can be
women, not
whores.
men.
I think the reason
Yes,
why
No,
the
for men
left even
too.
does
There's
that is just
purity
because like
culture on the right, and it's always for the women, and never for the men.
Yes.
I've never in
No,
any of
it's
the
for men
I've
too.
ever-
You are
I've
encouraged.
barely
You're
men
told
too.
from
men.
every
Fuck.
single
Have you read
child,
the
every
guy?
single
Have you
Oh,
read
one
the
at a time, one at a time, one
I
at
have
a time,
to
one at
speak
a
on
time,
this.
one at a
I
time, one
have
at
to
a time.
speak on the experience from
Hold on,
men's perspective.
hold on. You just keep
'cause
talking when
we
I say
already
one at a
know-
time. I don't know what you're doing.
Well, I'm one.
Hold on, stop. Okay, I want to hear from Cham. Finish your actual point. Then I want to hear from Mooncake, then Kitteh, and then we can get to you, Ash. Go ahead.
All right.
I mean, a lot in like the right is pretty like religious and stuff like that. And in regards to like Christianity and all that, like women are very much pushed on this purity culture and a purity, and wait till marriage. While some men are too, most of the time when it happens to men, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, oh well, you're a man, you have natural instincts, and you do that. But as soon as a woman loses her purity in those religions, it's essentially she could be disowned. She's like the list of things.
Yeah, I would say oh sorry, I was third, sorry.
No, don't worry. I know
No,
this
go,
is
Moon.
this channel's crazy. No, I was gonna say that even when I want to use an example. Myron Gaines, he's pretty big on the right now, adjacent to like a Nick Fuentes type. Um, and he puts himself as a conservative man. He's trying to teach men how to be better. And one of his first things is men should have sex with 50 women. And he presents himself as this religious conservative man. And so when people
Well, then
will
you
say
can-
like conservative men are not having sex, no, conservative men are definitely fucking. And I think this is something that has to be acknowledged because as soon as you relate it to a woman, I hate doing this comparison, they cannot do that. They're ran through. They can't have more than even two bodies now. And I think society is moving more towards conservatism. But once again, it is just strictly for women. The men are still doing what they've always done, which is had lots of sex with lots of women, and then demonize women for wanting to have the freedom to do the same thing. Now, I'm actually somebody who doesn't believe in just like willy-nilly sex, and I don't date men with high body counts. It's actually very important for me. But that doesn't mean that we should strip those freedoms from anyone who wants to partake in that lifestyle free of choice. And I think that's the very big difference.
I think I would prefer the way, if I was structuring society, I would prefer everybody to have a more sexually conservative way.
Let's
That's just how I would think. And sorry, that in terms of Christianity, those the people that are espousing that sort of thing, that are saying, oh, men should be having 50 partners and shit like that, making excuses, that is a twisting of the Old Testament, and whatever. you're an adulterer if you're jumping around.
But to the
yeah,
point,
it should
Kitteh.
be equal.
Yeah, but to the point
Mhm.
that she's trying to make, Kitteh. It's just true that if you are a man in society, you will be looked at not the same way as a woman would if you had 10 partners.
Yes.
If a man has 10 partners in society, no one thinks
Mhm.
anything of it, really. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a couple people
but
who'd be like,
Mhm.
he's kind of a fuck boy or whatever, right? But
Mhm.
if a woman has that many bodies, they are treated much,
Yes.
much worse. You understand that, yeah?
Absolutely. I'm not denying that. But what I'm talking about in the context that we were talking was how could we to look at the leftists and the right ideologies, and how does that coddle someone, or how does that give someone an excuse, right? How does it give someone an out? So what I did is applied what, say, a lefty, I'm not saying people on the panel, but just say a lefty sexual freedom principle could do. It would excuse the over sexualization. That's what I'm saying. I'm just using it as, if we're going to go all the way with the leftist stuff in this context, that could be coddling. I'm not denying that the right would also have ways of coddling men. You guys brought them up. I'm not arguing about that. Like, in terms of, you were calling the right, the, like the work in the home or traditional gender roles is coddling men. The right espouses that. The right wants women in the house and men working, and then we go into that whole discussion again of the incompetence and all of that. So yeah. Am I making sense? Did you understand?
I think the left simply don't care. Like, if you want to fuck a lot of people, go fuck a lot of people. I don't care. If you want to keep to a certain standard with your sexuality, you do you too, boo. Like, I think the left are more open to you doing whatever you want versus the right. And there's no judgment, right? And then the right, it's like, well, there's these high standards that they like want for everyone.
Even in
which
the
I
religion
prefer.
community. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it. That's all I wanted
Go
to say.
ahead,
I would
Alice,
prefer
show
higher
me what
Okay,
Alice has to say.
so I was gonna say, even in the far right, and I believe this stands for the truth, that the right even further coddles men than the left, because even in conservative communities, it is quite normal for a struggle of men to be lust. And like, if a man says, "Oh, I'm struggling with lust," it, like, everybody will look to him and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you're struggling with this. I know it must be so difficult to not lust for people." But like, if a woman were to say the same thing, like, people would look at her like she was disgusting, or like they just expect her to be chaste. They expect her to be the one to cover up, and there's no what's the word that we were using before? There's no expectation, I guess.
Accountability.
Yeah, there's no accountability for men to actually take care of themselves. The idea that lust being like an acceptable sin on the conservative side in religion kind of speaks to the fact that even religion is coddling men in a way that they would never do so with female.
I think
You could
all
only
religions
have this
do that,
experience, and you
in
could
all
only
fairness.
describe it this way if you were so totally fucking poisoned by resentment that you could not hear the words coming out of these people's mouths. The way that these guys, because I used to go to church pretty regularly, it's not an acceptable sin. You are constantly propagandized about how it's like, if you do this, even if you look at porn, like, man, you're permanently fucking up your brain. You're permanently fucking up your brain. It's over for you. You're dopamine poisoned. You're going to disappoint your wife. Look at all of our wives who don't want to have sex with us anyways, but look at how upset it is when we watch porn. There's constant testimonies about how this is basically destroying their entire fucking marriages. Usually in the context, weirdly, of sexless relationships. So if people look at you because you're not having sex, but you want to have sex, but you're not in a position where you're religiously constrained from doing that until a certain time, that's normal. If you're saying, if you're within that time where you're not religiously constrained from having sex and say, I still want to go out and get strange, then that is weird.
Well, it's like
But the idea that it's like an acceptable sin is just a lie. It's not based on anything. It's totally anti-reality.
when I say
Maybe not a lie,
acceptable
because maybe you're
sin-
not aware of it.
So when I say an acceptable sin, I mean a sin that people, specifically like priests or pastors, would look at you, would look upon and say something like, well, we all struggle with lust. Like making a very overarching statement that every man struggles with this thing, so it's not just you. Whereas a woman is just expected to just cover up, don't make men lust for you. So the fact that
I'm not a religious scholar by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm pretty sure if I go back to Bible school, that's all sins. It's not lust specifically.
no,
I
I mean
want to
there.
see.
That's the Christian religion, is that we all struggle with all of these.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I want
because
to. Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just trying to actually what I'm understanding from you, Owlish, is like when they say, "Oh, I'm struggling with lust," it's as if like it's lust just comes upon them, and it just happens to them. There's no responsibility. When you phrase it like "I'm struggling with it," is as if it's just this thing that happens to you and you're not involved with it. That's what I'm hearing from you, is that's where the lack of accountability, the phrasing, the framing is the thing that she's talking about being coddling.
Oh, that would also
for
be
men.
completely
It's an
fucking wrong.
affliction.
For anybody who had been inside of a church, especially a youth group or something like that, it's not characterized this way at all. You are, if you confess to this in front of the group, which is one, taking accountability, but two, you are then given accountability partners, they're referred to. Basically, like a low grade fucking Alcoholics Anonymous program they put you through.
Mhm.
You are given other people to keep track of. Some people will, there's really funny ones where you all put in a paycheck and say, all right, the first person to
Jerk off.
fail and watch last person to jerk off gets the full pot of the paycheck here.
That's the point I'm making, though. Like, who oopsies, my finger slipped and now I'm on RedTube. Like, that's something.
Nobody's saying it's accidental.
But, like,
that's
you
the point of the accountability.
No,
is they
but,
say,
like,
tell me when you're feeling this way, because
you're
it's
making
you.
it a game. You're making it a game, though. That's why I'm saying it's acceptable, because you're like,
Yeah, people
oopsies, I
gamify
accidentally
improvements.
masturbated. Oopsie daisy. When
There's
was
nothing that comes in here with an accident,
But
dude.
but, like,
sorry.
when is a woman?
It's still
Accountability. It's low judgment
Haven't
accountability.
all of us at one point accidentally masturbated? Just oopsie whoopsie. Like, haven't we all?
There's this thing with the poison ivy, man, and I didn't know this about poison ivy, but what happens is that it's the oil that gets. No.
Okay, I do
Oh,
want to.
no.
I do want to maybe get us back a little bit on track for the last portion of this show. Yeah, I don't know. I just like. If we look at all the requirement, well, let's look at it this way. What are the expectations of society on men versus what are the expectations of society on women, and who has a bigger burden of responsibility in general? And I know we could all look at specific areas where one may have more than the other, but if you look at society overall, and I'm going to say this and I'll let you all respond, I say that society places a greater responsibility on men than they do on women, just at most things. Not all things, but most things. Men are expected to be the protector. Men are expected to be the breadwinner. Men are expected to be the patient ones, right? When the woman's acting up, the man, be a man, like, be there for her, right? We have so many societal. Hold on, let me finish and I'll let you respond. We have so many societal outlets for women, right? And we have so much help for women, but we don't have that same level for men. I think that men are just given overall more responsibility by society. That's my statement, and I'll let you guys react to it. Go ahead.
Okay. Hold on. Because I get to go first because I'm just kidding. I work in a very male I work in a very male dominated field, and I literally have to fight for my, not literally, but I have to fight for my life to actually be taken seriously in a role that I specifically earned, right? People, and this is a very common phrase that people will use in 2025. People will literally call me a DEI hire because of what I do. I work in IT, right? When I come to work, even if I perform like so well, the skill that like a man would be able to normally do, just like would fuck up 1,000 times, I have to do it perfectly the first time, or else like the man has to step in and do it for me. If I explain something, if I explain an issue to a tech issue to somebody, like I'm doing local support and that person is having an issue and I walk up and I start explaining it to them, a lot of times they won't listen. They don't want to hear it from me, and then my male coworker will walk up, say the same shit that I just said, then it's like, oh wow, why didn't you just say that? It's like, it's so frustrating because I have to actually like work 10 times harder than everybody else to get the same paycheck, and maybe sometimes a little less depending upon like, if the glass ceiling still exists. So,
I mean, have you tried changing your presentation? Have you tried like this is, I'm afraid, weaponized incompetence. You gotta you really have to tackle people verbally when you're presenting them with an issue and understand that nobody wants to change the patterns of their behavior. So you have to you have to go aggressively at them to where they understand that there's force behind your statement. We're not going to get around this. You do have to change something, but still being gentle with them, right? It's a dialogue. I'm not going straight to 11 here.
Right. Like, so when I explain something to the panel, you have to step in and say it for me and mansplain it to the panel, right? That makes sense.
No, I'm training you on how to do it to the panel correctly the first time.
So
and I'm not going to hold resentment for you. If you have to do it if you have to practice a little bit. Okay, it's okay, because not everybody is born with the skill.
I'm sorry, was I being incompetent? Was I weaponizing? Was I weaponizing my incompetence to not be able to explain properly to the panel what the issue was? My own experience, by the way. I need you to
the person that you're engaging IT with, right? That's a typically male-coded skill, and that's an advantage for men. I think to Wick's question, men have the burden, but also the advantage of not just accountability, but like in fostering accountability with other men. And that's why it often doesn't look, might sometimes present as being coddled. But remember, we've distinguished coddling from accountability, from just being gentle with people in whether there's still accountability for the other person. So when somebody in a group setting confesses and says like, hey, I'm using porn, or like I'm feeling lust, or I'm struggling with these sins, sinful thoughts, casting myself back to youth group. Thank you, Mike Candy. That they approach it with gentleness and respect, but also for accountability, for like, hey, this is something that needs to change. I'm not desperately condemning you, because we all have a splinter in each other's eye and a plank in our own and stuff like that. We want them to understand that it's okay to voice that you are failing, because there are other people around you who want to help you succeed. And while that is a burden, it is also a huge advantage of a man.
I want to hear from.
Wait, like you just got like completely off track. Like,
yeah, I want to hear from the other panelists onto the question of who has more responsibility. Like, who does society hold more accountable, responsible for things, like men or women? And I'm just very curious. So we've heard from Ash, we've heard from Owlish. I want to hear from Mooncake, from Cham, and then from Kitteh.
So I think it and it sucks saying it depends, since it really does. But I think it's really what we were discussing at the time. So if we're talking about the household, if your kid messes up in any manner, it's always the mom's going to be blamed, no matter what. Even if the dad is the one who really is messing up, it's the mom's fault. if your kid isn't having good grades, if your kid is being angry at school, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, it's the mom's fault no matter what. No matter what happens, we say, what did the mom do wrong? Even if the dads aren't even around. And this is why I actually feel really bad for single moms, by the way, because even when they still get blamed. Even if they wanted to piss off and say, you know what, I'm not taking care of this kid either, they're still going to be the one blames. Like, they're the ones who are expected to do everything. They are expected to be the definition of perfection in work, in family, in relationships, in anything that they do. But men are allowed to mess up. They're allowed to be behind their counterparts. And I think that's the most frustrating thing. And I even see it, she was mentioning earlier about work, that like we aren't allowed to mess up. If we mess up, we are incompetent. We can't do our job. We don't know what's going on. But if they mess up, oh, it's just a silly mistake. Oh, maybe he'll get it tomorrow. And not only that, I work in finance and accounting. Some of you know this. They get to take advantage of the work that you've also done as a woman. That happens quite frequently, and it's incredibly frustrating. And it's something that we don't really talk about. They don't like to be corrected. That's one thing I've noticed among men. They hate being corrected. They don't take criticism well. And this is what I said in my earlier statement, my opening statement, is that they are truly falling behind. And the reason they're falling behind is that they don't take accountability for anything.
Okay. It's so funny though that you think that men can't take criticism. Try to point out something the woman's done wrong, or maybe she doesn't look right today, or maybe just tell a woman, hey, you've gained a little weight, and see what happens. Right? See what happens. See the little criticism you give. See what happens when you tell them.
If I tell a man
a guy
his penis is small, he's gonna fucking lose it. But I'm sorry. Okay, I don't have a problem. You want to say I'm a big bitch? Go ahead. But if I say his penis is small, the world's ending. Somebody call 911 because he's gonna.
How many men have you called? Have you said their penis are small? I'm really curious.
8.
8 men.
At least 8.
Have had
maybe 9.
Small penises. When it comes.
Oh no! Did it freeze?
Okay, I'm just.
No, I froze.
Oh no, you're still here. Oh,
I was in the pool.
Oh wait, did it freeze? Wait, am I back?
Are you back?
I was at the pool.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
I was in the
not
pool.
being able to take criticism isn't a gendered trait. I have seen, because you're right. There are some men you cannot criticize
how far
them.
People take it.
There are some
like,
women you cannot criticize them. Right?
How
like,
often do you hear women murdering a man for saying no to them?
Hold on.
Right.
I've had women accuse, well, not me personally, but I've known women who will accuse, if a man turns them down, they say, well, we're either going to have sex or I'm going to say you raped me.
Oh.
Wait, sorry, what was the
question? Women have said that.
Hold on, I missed something. Sorry, what was the question?
Hold on, no. There's been, like, because Cham said, well, we don't have women out there murdering men for criticizing them. And I'm saying there are women out there who will say, if we don't have sex, we're gonna have sex, either we have sex or I'm gonna claim you raped me. Like, there are women out there like that.
When has a man ever turned down sex? Like, when has a man
plenty
ever
of times
been like, oh, sorry, I have a headache today?
No, there's plenty of hold on. No, there are plenty of times where I've been offered sex.
Just now showing a double standard.
How dare you turn
Hold on, no. There's been
a man can't say no. You're immediately putting that.
I'm not saying a man can't say no. I'm saying it's unrealistic that
no,
you would
it's
see
not.
a woman.
No, it's not.
Is.
There are plenty of men, and there are plenty of times where I just don't want sex. Sorry, I'm just not in the mood.
Ooh.
I've had a big day.
Well, you're not a man. You're not a man for that.
That's what they would tell me. Yes, I've been called a eunuch.
I don't think any woman would say you're not a man. I think psychopaths will tell you that.
No.
Right,
what they'll do is, hold on, no, stop. No, we're doing therapy session for Wick right now, because I have been told many times when I have turned down a woman, I've never been called the F slur more in my life than when I've turned down a woman.
Better fucking partners.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like you have the worst selection in women.
Again, it's his responsibility. But if a man was going to, but we would never apply that. We would never fucking apply that to a woman who are not murdered by and large for giving criticism. Intergender violence is heavily punished. Is harshly fucking punished.
Like a guy in Germany pushed 2 women off a fucking cliff. You can look up countless times.
I don't fucking care about some shithole country called Germany. which is
The guy was
infested by
American.
third worlders,
The guy was
let
American,
in
by the
by
way.
their women
By
who
the
disrespect
way,
women. I don't
the guy
care.
was American. It was an
Education system.
American man traveling, and he pushed 2 women
American.
off a
What kind
fucking
of
cliff.
American? Where's that image? What kind of American is he?
You can go look it up. Go look
An
it
American
up.
citizen named Jihad Shalala.
Oh my god. You're supposed to keep
Holy
that in the
shit.
group chat, man.
That
That is supposed to stay
This is
in
a
the group
private
chat.
setting. Yeah.
Oh
No,
yeah. Right.
I don't care about fucking Germany. And again, you went
I'm
after
giving
Wick after he said that this person who came up to him, who he rejected, and started calling him slurs, which I won't repeat. Your immediate reaction was pick better partners. He
I mean,
did.
kind of, yeah.
He said, not that one, and you went after
kind of,
him.
yeah.
That was your
I don't
first
like
fucking reaction.
if you're chronically picking people that treat you like that. Holy fuck! I've
He's
never ever in my
It's not
entire
chronic.
life ever
on,
experienced
stop.
like that, or like
It's not
fucking
chronic.
crazy. It sounds like it is. You made it sound like you had a
It's happened
shitload of
more than
partners.
once, but it's not
What's
every
more than
time.
once?
And
He's
how do
in
I?
Pennsylvania. He might have had churros in
It's
his
not
pocket.
even. It's not even my partner in many cases.
Might have chased him
after all,
waddling
after
down
all,
a downward
if you
slope.
keep picking
And
shitty
it's-
people, then
it's
yeah,
no-
it's on
hold
you
on.
at some point.
No, these aren't people I'm picking. I'm with someone. I'm at a club or something, or I'm with someone. I get separated for them. A woman approaches me. A woman propositions me. I say no because I'm in a relationship or I just don't want to, or various other reasons, and they just call me the F-slur. I am not making any decisions in this other than saying no. I'm not picking someone. They are coming up to me and approaching me. Okay? Now,
I mean,
does this happen every day?
Brothel
I
or
wish it
something?
did,
Like-
but it does not. Okay? But it
I
happens
think the
more. It's
setting
happened
has
more
a
than
lot to do
once.
with it. Like, because I was imagining, so in my mind, I was imagining you were in a situation where, like, you were in an intimate setting with someone, like in their house or they were in your house, and they lean over and they're like, hey, babe, wanna go? And then, like, you're like, nah, I'm tired. And she's like, well,
I've
if you
done
don't,
that.
I'm gonna.
Hold on.
Huh?
I've done that too before, by the way. I've been in a
What?
relationship,
Same.
living with someone. They proposition me. I'm not in the mood, and I say no. Yes, that's happened.
Well, yeah, that's
they
except.
drop
What
the
did they say? What
F-slur?
they say? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because you're applying it to a setting in which like trashy people will be doing trashy things, and then trying to say that like it's all women or like this is a standard.
No,
that
I've had people I've dated for a little bit do that. Not often because I do pick.
Did you
good
stay with
women.
them?
No, well, no, obviously.
Okay,
But,
I'm glad you got out of
can I
your
ask-
abusive
can I ask a
relationship.
question?
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know
like-
if that was a.
I mean, so I'm
Abusive?
gonna
That's
say this. I'm gonna say
abusive.
this. I'm gonna
That's
say this.
manipulation.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think it's right to say necessarily like blanket choose better women, because this really comes down to like
Why they say it to us all the time. Choose better men.
True.
yeah, and this is me flexing, you know, the emotional part that
That they laugh.
yeah.
That's the thing is
emotional
nobody said that
part.
to you in this conversation. Nobody said, "Oh, if people coming up to you and killing you, choose better men." But that was your immediate refrain for Wick. And so the only angle when we talk about things like accountability, it's the fact that the only lens you have to view throughout the world is your own immediate experience, and you will change that past experience in order to present somebody else as, in order to better fit somebody else that you dislike into that box of this person's
And look
bad
at
because they're making you
statistics.
Because what
feel
happened?
bad.
It's
So what happened after I
experience, it's
made-
statistics. Like, go look up how many fucking
You
like the crimes
experienced
men
trashy
versus
people
women.
coming up to Wick and being and him picking them and while simultaneously rejecting them. No.
Yeah, but what just happened in my immediate snap response was to be like, oh, pick better men. But then I thought about it and I used the logical side of my brain to then turn around and realize, well, maybe what I said wasn't the correct thing to say, because, you know, I was using my emotional intelligence to then turn around and say, well, you know what, maybe I should rethink what I said and actually use my,
look,
you know,
What you should do,
I do want to get it. I do want to get it off me
What you should do
specifically.
is apologize for saying something
I don't like talking about my
profoundly
personal
fucking
life.
shitty.
Okay, so I don't
Well,
like
I'm
talking about
very
my personal life,
sorry.
so I do want to move it off of me specifically. I got stories. So if you guys want to hear stories, right? Women are
Hell
weird.
yeah.
Okay, man. Like they give off the most mixed signals I've ever seen in my life. Okay. I'll give you one story though, because we are wrapping up and I want to get to closings, but I think I've told this story before, maybe I haven't. But when I was like I think I was like 21, I was really young, 21, 20, something like that. I was with a girl. We were making out, and I
Proud of
started
you.
getting to second
Yeah.
base and things like
Okay,
that.
well,
And
let's all clap.
she's like, no, I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl. I'm like, okay. I cut that out. And then she gets like cold. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, she just stops and she gets mad at me. And I'm like, why are you mad at me? She looks at me and she says, good girls like bad boys. What am I supposed to do with that? What the fuck am I supposed to do? No means no, unless it doesn't, right? Like, unless she's going to get mad at you. And she says no. I don't know. Anyway, personal story over time is crazy. It's always fucked me up.
No therapy session.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to
Yeah.
laugh, but
No,
like,
it's
the way
it's
you
funny
said that-
because
A little
it's
further.
crazy.
The way you said that, I like bad boys.
Yeah, she looked at me and she's like, "Good girls like bad boys," and I'm like,
Good girls like bad boys.
"Okay, okay,
She was an
okay. We have run out of time. I want to give it. Thank you all for staying with us. I know it's been kind of a crazy topic. Tomorrow I'm going to be having a semi-open panel on the group chat leaks. The Republican stuff. So if you have big thoughts on that, and you want to stop in, it's a semi-open thing, and we'll be starting at 6 o'clock, and we'll be talking about there. I want to give each of these lovely individuals a chance to shout themselves out, tell people where they can find them, and closing thoughts on this issue. Does society coddle men? We're going to start with Kitteh, and we're going to end with Cham. Cham will have the last word. So Kitteh, go ahead.
Okay, just starting with my ending statements. I think that life is actually it's hard for humans. And we can all bring up grievances with life. We live in a gendered, we are gendered, a sexed species. We've got a dimorphic format, essentially. And therefore we're going to have different experiences of life. I don't think really it's really helpful for us to sit and fling shit at each other. The best comes out when we actually understand each other. So I don't think it's useful to sit and harp on about who has more responsibility in society or not. We each have different responsibilities, and we should all endeavor to fulfill them. That's it. As for what I do, I have a little YouTube channel, and I like actually diagramming debates more than I like taking part in them. I like to pull them apart line by line, essentially, and figure out what everybody's arguments are. And basically, it's reaction content with notes. So, in terms of what I'll be doing soon, we'll be looking at the debate between Dave Smith and something Hughes, I think it is.
Coleman Hughes.
And that's what I'll be looking at. It's been recommended to me. But otherwise, I do fun stuff on Fridays, and I also have a panel show on Thursday nights. But that's me. Thank you for having me again, Wick. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again for being here. Let me just get through these group chat, the super chats I missed real quick, and then we'll get to Ash, and then we'll keep going. $5 from Audacity say women were in the group chat too. Moot point. $5 more. I'm rested in the fact that this issue is only big for e-poll talking heads. No one else cares. Referring to the group chat leaks. $5 from Chipingro to say privacy was the only legal foothold by which Roe judgment was originally made. $5 more from Chipingro to say, yeah, but what are you wearing? What were you wearing, Wick? Okay, I was wearing my I was wearing my fuckboy outfit. Okay, $2 from Testicle Johnson to say Ash has long hair and long hair is for women. True.
True.
And then $5 from Gronman to say I hope Wick enjoys all the money The sexist and hateful panelists have earned him today. Thank you for that. Okay, Ash, close us out.
Yeah, I think that a lot of this gender war stuff is rightly regarded by people as kind of being for losers. And the degree to which you are a loser is the degree to which you just constantly harp on the other side and use it as a lens or an excuse for your own resentment, to where your grievances always stack up as high as possibly can go, and you can't see things from the perspective of a different person. This is the origin of weaponized incompetence. Being able to see things from another person's perspective, empathize with them, and go further and say, okay, what else does this person have? Can I help them improve? Do they want to improve? Is that something I should help with them? Am I capable? That's the origin point. Saying no is the origin point of weaponized incompetence. I don't care how hard my wife worked at home, so I am going to throw my shit on the floor. I don't care how whether my husband had 2 separate 8-hour shifts at 2 separate jobs, and now I'm going to be upset because he left a dish in the sink or something like that. This is for losers, psychopaths, people who you should regard with derision. And that, unfortunately, as we approach a more equal society, now also does include women. And they're not going to be comfortable because they haven't experienced, 100,000 years of taking criticism. It's a bit of a tradition for men. But they will get used to it. They are stronger than you think. Don't look down on them and say, just because they can't park, that means that I can't give them feedback. You can. They can take it, and society will be better for it. And I hope that you all have a wonderful night full of sex and wonderful relationships.
Okay, well, thank you.
Especially you, Wick.
Okay, I don't know
Wow.
what that means. Mooncake, go ahead.
Am I allowed to use profanity, Wick?
No tosslers, but you can say fuck, shit, all that, yeah.
No, what is that?
So
Like,
don't use
pussy?
the F slur, okay?
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
And don't use the
Okay,
N
sorry.
word, okay?
That one maybe. No, okay. In general,
It's a pass.
panel was
Okay.
actually a lot of fun. I respect all of you, even if we get a difference of opinions. It was nice. It was heated. Overall, I think I'm still correct, where I do think men lack that accountability. I think they were coddled on this panel tonight, in the chat, everywhere that could be seen. I do think, and I'm going to say it, men have to be men again. That's a little controversial. We get into it at another time. But yeah, I think that as a society, we're moving in a very concerning direction. And I think somebody needs to lead young men in the correct direction. And hopefully, Wick, that may be you. But right now, they're pussies. I still love them. I still love men. Feel
They
free
have
to give me
uses.
your money. Yeah, you have your uses. You really do. You give me money, and I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate that for you. You work on my car. You do stuff around my house. So I love men, especially their money. So yeah, if you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitch, Mooncake XO, and the same on YouTube. I do panels sometimes, but mostly like video games and cosplay. So yeah, that's me.
I do appreciate that you chose to do today's panel. I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't feel coddled, but maybe I am. Who knows? If you want to coddle me,
I
you
felt a
can
little
super
coddled.
chat,
I felt like
okay?
you guys should have gone
You
way
give me
fucking
a
harder on
bunch
me. I
of-
was definitely a little coddled.
You can give me a bunch more gift subs, got a bunch more super chats, and I will feel coddled, and you will be correct, okay? You will prove yourselves right. Alish, please.
I'll go ahead and just let Ash say what I was gonna say, because apparently he knows what I'm gonna say because he can say it better. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
How to do
Metabag,
not better too. Don't forget.
Yeah,
I have a lot that needs to be fixed, and I didn't scrape my rims.
What? I didn't even hear what that. I didn't even hear you.
Talking joke.
A what?
Just give your
Car
closing.
park
Just give your
dramatic
closing. Let us
driving.
see
Oh,
what
sorry.
else.
Car
Statistically
parking
says
joke.
otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Anyway, in general, I still do think that men are coddled in some ways, especially in like when they feel like women are like impeding or like taking jobs that they feel like they should have. Like, for example, my job, I work in IT, and people feel like women shouldn't be doing that job. But I do agree that we should work together and not make it a separatist society where like men versus women, because like we're kind of like over that, right? Like it's 2025, we should be over it, and we should just not coddle anybody. We should just, all of us should be men and women and men, and maybe some not women and men. I don't know.
The
But
in-betweeners.
yeah, the in-betweeners, you know? Everyone can be everyone. In general, those are my thoughts on that. I don't really do any sort of like panels or anything. I just have a Twitter. I type a lot on there, and I do a lot of panels or a lot of discussions in VC and certain Discord servers, and sometimes on TikTok, depending upon my mood. But that's it about me. Anyway.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. I got
Thank you
links
for
to,
having me.
of course, I got
Thank
links
you
to
for having me
everyone's
so much.
stuff that has given me stuff to link in my YouTube Discord, and you can check them out there. Last but certainly not least, Cham.
Well, thanks again for having me on. Hopefully everything went well, and I will be invited again. um, So once again, I do still. My mind has not been changed. Think men in society are coddled. I think that is why a lot of men are leaning towards going for towards the right, because it benefits them to make their life easier. I think women have the burden of like childbirth and childcare, and essentially creating a future for any nation. And I think in regards to a lot of things in life, women have to coddle men for their own safety. And men have it fucking pretty easy because they're still almost leading in every fucking thing. And until that changes, I think there'll always be a gender war. And I still don't have sympathy for men. So
Okay, well, thank you for being here, and yes, you will be invited back, but one day you'll feel sympathy for me, I promise. Okay, okay. With that,
well, that's what I do.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, well, I'm done. And I'll just see you guys later. I'm gonna stop. Wait, bye bye, everyone.
Bye.